Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair. The crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my stride.
You lost it.
I lost my smile.
Did you find it?
I lost my smile.
I hope you find it.
I hope you find it.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Good morning.
Joey's here.
I'm here
Good
again.
morning. Hey, go Mavs.
By the way, what is the title of your stream today?
What is it?
It is this like a are you really a Teefie? Like, is this show going to be are you one of us or not?
Are you really a Teefie?
Like, are you with us? Like tonight, apparently,
How invested are you?
apparently for
I have a question.
For
I have
the
a question
Connor
for
Happer
people.
show, apparently today it's like you're either with us or you're against us.
Are
Are you really a Teefie?
I have a question for you people.
You people?
Yeah,
You people.
there was a lot of conversation about young Dylon yesterday, and I wonder, based off the reaction, if people were actually Teefies or if they were just using that as an excuse to hate to not publicly hate Dylan. And now they could publicly hate Dylan.
There is the funny
That
big
guy to your left.
whoa. What do you mean? I was a Dylan, and people called me a Dylan guy. People came and called on the show and said, "You're a boy," in reference to Dylan.
Commitment issues over there.
Not commitment issues at all.
There's these fancy guys that went into the portal yesterday, and all of a sudden we forget about the guy that's right in our own backyard, and he's like, "Hey, that guy over there, he's
Teefie,
sexy."
what are you accusing me of?
Yeah.
I don't
know what he's talking
I have
about.
been wildly consistent in terms of all of this stuff.
But he was strong with Latif as like the guy with no Dylan.
That's not true.
Now it's like,
That's not true.
ooh,
That is
Levitt
not
over
true.
Latif. It rolls off your
So
tongue.
what do you
That is
want?
not
Okay,
true.
reset. What do you want now? What do you want to happen now? Who do you want to be the
this
starting
is-
quarterback?
Somebody who's currently in the portal.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think that the schedule is way too hard and next season is way too important for you to trust a coaching staff that's proven they can't develop quarterbacks to develop this quarterback.
Yeah,
So-
there's another group that's sort of working. We'll talk about these people too. Are you a Teefie or are you just I want the team to be goody?
Yes, yeah. I'm a goodie. You
Okay.
can mark me as a Mick Goodie, if you will.
Got it.
Got
Got it.
No,
I'll put you
look,
down.
first off, if you go back and if you have the court reporter read back to you what I said, what
we
you-
should have a stenographer.
yes,
like the court reporter will show you that after the UCLA game, I very much was like, hey, he's good, man. Like I see it. He's got potential. Like he's got some stuff, but it was UCLA.
We should post entire transcripts of our shows instead of the podcasts, or with the podcast. We also put, if you want to read it,
Yeah,
too,
if you want to
can
read
get
it.
more clean.
That's what Gary Vee says. Gary Vee wants everything to be content. Gary Vaynerchuk will be like, you got to make that an article, man. You got to make people click on that. You know who Gary Vee is?
I don't think so.
Gary Vee is like Dave Ramsey, but for like hustling. He's like hustling Dave
Gary
Ramsey.
Vee?
The
Gary
magazine?
Vee. He goes ahead.
That guy.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen that guy before.
Gary Vee.
That guy is always saying something.
He's always no, exactly. He is the hustling.
Have you seen this guy?
Yeah.
He talks really fast. He thinks he knows everything.
Yes, he's hustling Dave Ramsey. So it's just like he goes ahead. He goes to like
I hate that guy. He thinks he knows everything.
he goes to garage sales and he like flips things and he's like and he looks at the little Hot
Oh
Wheels.
yeah, he's one of the like, hey, if you're sitting on your couch and you're just mindlessly scrolling, then
Yeah.
what are you doing with your life?
Yes.
Got it.
While he, by the way, profits off of people mindlessly scrolling and posting all the content. He's Mr. Content. He's always like, put more content
God, I
out.
hate content.
But if you go back to the court report, you'll see that after the Penn State and Iowa games, I was like, look, second and third start, good defenses, tough draw, could be better, could be worse.
But
You've
then
always
Ben
been mild
McBennett,
on
some
Teefie.
other people got into the
didn't-
portal yesterday, and my man over here was like, "Yeah, where's 14 in Nebraska again?"
I'm
Levitt, Latif,
I'm looking at the
Levitt.
field, and I think
It's like how people have
I
been
wonder
like,
if TJ can find
there
a
are
home.
guys-
I'll make
it's
some
been
calls for him.
it's been a real it's been fun to watch over the last 24
He's-
hours,
he's-
because there's been a lot of people who have just been like, all right, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
He made me choose. I mean,
see ya.
Gary,
Peace.
Gary didn't make me do anything. I want to make that clear. But Gary posed a question at some point during the show, being like, "Would you rather have a 2-year transfer portal guy or TJ Latif?" And so I had to choose. I chose the 2-year transfer portal guy. But that doesn't mean
I agree for the record.
that doesn't mean, by the way, that if TJ Lateef were to be the starting quarterback next year, that I would be like, oh my God, everything's doomed. I wouldn't be as comfortable.
I'm already on to 27. Trey Taylor's
How?
going to walk in the door. We're going to be fine.
Nice. True freshman.
I haven't even looked at the schedule.
Because
in
everybody
27.
knows that starting a
I don't
true
even know who they're
freshman.
playing in 27.
Starting a true freshman worked so well the last time the Huskers did it. Why not do it again?
2027
Nebraska
is just
started 3-0.
2027 is just
People forget
2026
they
in
started
reverse, right?
4-1.
What do you rule over there? Being like, hey, we're 6-2. Hey, we're
the
6-3.
West Coast
Hey,
teams.
hey, when
Yeah.
was the last time we had a big game in November? That's all it was good for.
Well,
at the end of
Nebraska
the year.
going to Columbus and Washington and
This
Madison
is 27.
in 27. Yep. Home against, wow, look at this. Nice home slate. Iowa on Black Friday, Minnesota, Oregon, Purdue,
Nice.
Rutgers.
Nice.
Awesome.
Trey's
we're-
going to have
we're-
a great start in
Nebraska's playing
27.
Rutgers the next 2 seasons.
Is
Because
Rutgers
that is
back?
a built-in rivalry.
Oh, yeah.
You know, remember,
And it
Joey,
needs to be.
you remember they played during Champions Week.
Champions
Yeah, they
That
did
Week.
in
shows you how
2020.
important Nebraska-Rutgers is.
By the way,
2020.
Are they playing
People forget.
Northwestern?
Rutgers is going to Piscataway next year. We're going back to the East Coast.
Is that we're doing 1620 the house at Piscataway?
Absolutely. Sounds like a great
It
idea.
sounds
I
like
bet
an
that'd be
awesome
a little
idea.
bit expensive.
Probably.
Well, we
We
could
could get good pizza and sandwiches.
in 2027 we can do 1620 the house in
1620
Evanston.
the Jersey Shore.
And
Where are we
and
going in 27?
we can go to Evanston, Illinois. Aren't they in Evanston in 27?
Yes.
We can go 1620 the house,
No, we
but
want
it's
that game moved.
just 1620 the McMasters.
Okay.
Because 2027, Nebraska should be back at Arrowhead, Northern Illinois,
Oh, yeah.
opening week.
Yeah.
That's,
could be.
That's what they've targeted.
Maybe they'll play
as
their whole home
possibly-
schedule there that year because South Stadium will be burned to the ground.
You know what? If we're just going to play the whole home schedule over to Arrowhead, let's just tear down Memorial Stadium. Let's have that conversation today. Screw Dylan.
Good one.
Thank you.
I like it.
Topic alert.
We don't really need a stadium because we played the schedule on the radio.
Hey, anytime, anywhere. We can go to Uzbekistan.
That's true.
yeah, people forget.
People
That's
do
true.
forget. Everybody
Oh,
forgets
I
about
forget that era. Trust me.
People-
Until it comes back and he sues you.
Yeah, sometimes you remember this randomly on a Friday.
And then Trev and Troy are talking about it at a volleyball game and it gets caught on camera. That's bad.
They call it Bill Moose and they go, "What were you thinking?"
Yeah, there you go.
Like, do you
How
think
often-
you properly vetted this guy?
How often do you think he gets that call?
Where is his book?
I have no clue.
Simple.
I'm
Where's his book?
you should go on Sportsmanlike Conduct today and ask Sipple.
I don't think the book exists.
Oh, it exists.
Oh, it
It-
exists. It for sure
It might not be for public consumption, but it definitely exists.
There are concepts of a book.
He's got stories.
Yeah, he does.
I think the book
He's adding
is-
chapters.
I think the book just is only consumed in person with Moose.
It could be.
And you just go, okay, what would chapter 1 be? And so he tells you.
Yeah.
Do you think actually the book
The
might,
book only exists in a phone call between Steve Sipple and Bill Moose.
it actually is a transcript? That's all the book is. It's just
Yeah.
a transcript of Sipple and Moose in a 3-hour conversation.
Simple side piece is this book that does not exist.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Sipple side piece is Bill Moose.
Bill Moose.
Be awkward.
Would be awkward.
That'd be very.
That'd
very
actually be a great. That's actually genius from Bill Moose to like have Sipple talk about the book so Bill Moose can stay within Nebraska like media.
Yeah, but he's not getting anything out of it unless he
Other than us talking about this imaginary book.
yeah, but he's not going to get any, if he doesn't actually sell the book, then nobody's going to buy.
Are
there's
you
no
going to
book
buy the
buy.
book?
I'm not going to buy the book. Maybe
you-
somebody will give
I
me the
will
book.
buy the. Well, no, I won't buy the book because it will be given to me.
Exactly.
When
Maybe there
we-
will be excerpts.
when because Moose would have to do like a little media tour,
a book tour.
book
Yeah.
tour. Yeah.
He loves
and
Western
I
Nebraska.
believe
Barnes and Noble
um,
stops.
Yeah.
the non-disclosure agreement. Are we getting close to that? That has to be up.
He signed an NDA.
Oh God, yeah,
Wow.
what, 5 years?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
By the way, what does a 5-year NDA really do? By the time he gets
You only sign forever NDAs.
Yeah, I mean I'm not signing NDAs, but
I signed an NDA once. It was weird.
Well, Nebraska used to have a quarterback that if you were
yeah.
at a party that he was at, you had to sign an NDA.
Very cool.
He had a good year. Last quarterback to beat Iowa.
Very, very cool.
He was
Totally
on
normal.
campus.
Yeah, that's right. He showed up in a picture.
Yeah, he was at the game.
Casey played what, 8 years of college football?
God,
A
something
lot.
like that. I mean, he played at Texas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and FAU. What a career! Did he get any run at Oklahoma? Did he come in for a game at Oklahoma as a backup or something like that?
Think of Adrian Martinez.
What?
No, Oklahoma. Casey went to Oklahoma at the end.
He did?
I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
yeah.
He got
After FAU?
Yeah. No.
No. I think it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
he
so
played at
FAU, and then he
OU.
broke his
Yeah,
leg.
and then he
So
went.
when
to
and
did
then he had
seventh
1 year of
season at
eligibility
OU.
left, and he went to Oklahoma.
So this was last year, like 24?
2
2 years ago.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
Did he attempt any passes?
Yeah.
I don't see any stats on.
I thought he got in for a game at Oklahoma.
but said he was on OU, but I don't see any stats at all.
Okay.
Remember when Rule got here and he did that video of him and
He played in a game. He
Really?
played in a game.
remember when he
what I thought.
released the
Didn't throw any
video of him
passes.
working out when Nebraska was trying to figure out their quarterback? And it was in December.
I don't remember that.
We're
We're only
like-
a couple weeks away from weird stuff like that. You
No,
know?
December 18th.
Oh, look at
Back to
that.
back years, Sims and Raiola commit. So I expect
Oh.
Dylan to wait for a couple of more days to keep December 18th alive.
Well, then will Nebraska have their next quarterback on December 18th?
That would be wild. That would be so tampering, and it would be so great.
How would that impact
I
the
remember
bowl
when
game?
I remember when they brought in Jeff Sims, and then I looked at Jeff Sims stats and Casey Thompson stats, and I was like, what are we doing here? And then I think that was probably it's probably a decision to just restart things.
Hey,
Were probably
then-
more important.
Then why did then the other thing is Jeff Sims didn't commit to Arizona State until like May.
Mm.
But he wasn't in Lincoln, right? Like once that season was over,
I didn't see
and they
him,
were moving
no.
on, he left Lincoln.
no, I didn't see him at the brass rail.
I don't know what Jeff Sims' whereabouts were.
Well, I know where they were.
But he didn't commit to Arizona State till like May 1.
I was on the bout. I go, weren't you in Indy today? And he goes, yep. I'm like, cool. You want a Long Island iced tea? He goes, yeah.
Wait a minute, you saw him after he left the Big Ten Media Day?
Yeah, he was.
Why didn't you ask him if he enjoyed his time with Connor and myself?
I didn't know you two.
Oh
at the
God,
time.
that's right.
We spent time with him.
That's right. Wow.
Connor made Matt Rule laugh.
Well, we,
Nice.
He's the last guy from 1620 to make Matt Rule laugh.
Not the last one to make him express an emotion, though.
that was a long time ago. Long time ago.
And wow, you said that like Ben Kenobi.
it was. It was.
Well, there was a
long
lot
time
of
ago.
hope and optimism that day.
Well, I was gonna make the comparison that Dylan Raiola is like Luke Skywalker if he didn't blow up the Death Star.
I wish I understood that reference.
It's okay. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
I don't know about.
It's
the
actually
Star
a great
Wars.
reference.
I'm sure it was funny.
Sounds pretty good. No, I showed up at Brothers and I showed up from work because it was Big Ten Media Day and we had to do a lot of work and content and cut up some stuff and get it ready for all the shows that were coming up in the week. And then I went home, went to Brothers, and I show up and Jeff Sims and Timmy Bleakroad were there.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm glad they came back because we had to stay another day and watch a man die.
That's true. In
Yeah.
the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
saved a man.
story. You saved a man, right?
Well, we all did our part to try and draw attention to the situation, but it didn't. People were not very receptive to it. Weirdly,
Well, they were
No.
fine with him dying.
kind of.
Oh,
Okay,
we weren't.
cool.
We weren't. We were trying to help
Yeah.
him.
Were they-
Everybody
were-
else was just kind of going about their business.
Was it like, yeah, that's because Jeff, he does that.
What did they call him? Like Uncle something.
That lady going,
Yeah, like
can
Uncle
you help?
something.
Can you help? Can you help?
And it was like the impression
What?
that I got was that had happened a lot.
Oh, okay.
And-
Yeah, I was
and
about to say.
It's like, don't.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's
I'm like, I don't think this is normal. I think he's dying.
And there was no like the cops were because we were in not a great part of Indianapolis at the Kroger. The cop didn't have like a sense of urgency.
No.
There's a man on the floor.
That's
in
crazy.
Aisle 6 is dying.
Yeah.
The three of us are like, this is not normal to us. And the cop is like, okay, I'll call it in.
Yeah. They're like,
Maybe
I
some
guess,
CPR.
I guess we'll
Okay.
get somebody over
We were-
here as
I-
soon as we can.
I was at the Brothers with Jeff's.
We dipped. We were like,
Dude,
well, I'm out of here.
It was me. I'm thinking about it now. It was me, Sims, Josh Fleeks, and Timmy Bleakroad. And by the end of the year, all three of those guys had lost their starting jobs.
Mm.
And then the next week, I saw Jeff Sims back at the brass rail for the second weekend in a row. And I go, this isn't good. This is not. This probably
no,
isn't the
He's
best.
in college.
Hey, by the way, I mean, thank you to Jeff Sims. I mean, Jeff Sims opened the door to get Dylan here. And
Very much
probably-
appreciated. It
He
was
played his
and
part.
maybe
well worth it.
thank you to Jeff Sims once again because he's out of eligibility at Arizona State, and that'll allow Dylan to go to Arizona State. So
You
Dylan
can't-
actually is chasing Jeff Sims.
And maybe it'll allow Sam Levitt
Whoa.
to, go to a different place.
Should that be the next YouTube documentary about Dylan Raiola chasing Sims? Not Chris Sims or Phil Sims.
I
But
don't know
Jeff
if they've
Sims.
ever
The Jeff
interacted
Sims
with each other.
pipeline.
But when was the moment that you knew Nebraska was cooked in the Jeff Sims era?
Probably the first fumble against Colorado.
I don't think it was the first one for
You
me.
think it was the fourth one?
Do you think maybe the week before in
Let's check its game
Minneapolis
log.
might have given you an inkling of
that little
uh-oh?
trickery.
Hey, he had that great play. He had that great play where he dropped it and then he threw it, and
one
Alex
was
Bullock
there.
caught a touchdown. Okay, let's see.
Do you think maybe that interception in the fourth quarter might have been like, you know what, Rold, I don't think this is going to work.
Well, he got hurt. He got hurt in the Colorado game, or he
Yes, he got hurt. No,
Yeah.
he
I'm
hurt
talking
his
about
ankle.
Minnesota.
He
There
hurt
was
his
a
ankle.
key part, not the Anthony Grant fumble. There's an interception where
on the
he's
throws
looking right,
it right
at
at
the
guy.
linebacker.
he did throw 3 interceptions in that game.
People do forget that. That last one, what was it? Tyler Newbin picked it off.
Good
That guy.
player.
What about Minnesota and getting those stud safeties? Newbin, Parrish. Those are the only two I can name.
That's what happens when you beat Nebraska. You
Who's the
get
guy
safety.
who's on the Bucks now? What's the guy's name? That guy's good.
Oh, Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield. Yeah, that dude's good. Another Minnesota.
Peace sign.
Yeah, that's right. That's him. That's the guy.
I did that to piss off Gary.
Okay. So he
By the way, hey,
he
Joey.
only played 5 games.
You
here.
suck. You know what
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
Continue.
I thought we were going
we're-
on a Jeff Sims, train.
completely
here.
But
unrelated.
hey, back to the Jeff Sims. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Jeff Sims.
He played 5 games here. He threw 1 touchdown. He threw 6 interceptions. He lost
All the games.
how many fumbles? Where are the?
But they
fumbles
fixed the
that-
fumble issue
Jeff-
after Jeff
Did
Sims.
Jeff Sims win a game at Nebraska?
Well, remember, he played well against Maryland when they brought him in when he was the third quarterback.
He threw a pick right
but-
away.
So Jeff
No,
Sims,
he had the long run.
Jeff
He let him
Sims
drive
didn't
down
win
the
a
field.
game.
Threw the pick.
Yeah, he did do that.
He didn't win
Yeah.
a game that he started.
Yeah,
No.
he didn't win one game. At
He
Nebraska.
won 2 games that he played in.
But if you ask, well, what are the 2 games he played in?
Louisiana Tech and Purdue. He had a carry for -2 yards against
Oh, he came in against Purdue on like a little
Louisiana
weird.
Tech.
Yeah,
Harvard-
yeah.
Harvard
They
was
brought.
starting.
I think Harburg got hurt or something like that, and he
He-
came
no,
in for
he
2
came-
plays.
Didn't he fumble it?
Well, the Maryland game, remember the
I think he-
disaster of the Maryland game? They played all
Yeah.
3 of them, and all 3 of them threw picks.
Yeah,
Didn't-
but there was
Didn't Sims fumble it against Purdue on that one play?
I'm not probably.
I think that's a thing.
but there was a brief 8-play stretch where Jeff Sims looked really good against Maryland.
Well,
Yes, he took him on the drive to take the lead, and then that was sandwiched by fumbles.
Yes, yeah, it was.
It's- you know what? That would be a great title to a Jeff Sims book. Sandwiched
Sandwich-
by fumbles.
Sandwiched by fumbles.
But
But he's going to be an NFL guy. You
They-
ask the NFL scouts, that's all they're telling him. This
They-
guy's going to go to the league.
well, then if you watched him this year when they went over to Ames and beat Iowa State,
yeah,
you're like, Kenny Dillingham, you are a quarterback whisperer.
he was running around like crazy
because he still had the turnovers.
yeah, he's still
God, he
fumbled.
looked good.
his jersey was all dirty.
Good-looking ball player.
Oh man, he
He'll-
was
hey,
getting after it.
Congratulations to Jeff Smith. So he had the Amigos deal, he had the Akers deal, and he had a Gusgasm. His touchdown run against Colorado to begin the second half.
And then he also made Gus.
Oh,
Bench
say,
him.
yeah.
Then Gus
You
became
gotta put him on the bench. He's killing him. He's killing him, Joel.
That's just like the Troy. That's like last night.
You gotta do something else.
Troy Aikman last night is talking about how the Dolphins in the second quarter haven't quit. You got to give him credit. Then in the fourth quarter, he's crushing them because they quit.
Yeah.
That's
they're
what
not-
Gus
not
Johnson
big.
during the Colorado game with Jeff Simmons.
Happer's Gus is so good and so bad.
He's
It's a-
killing him.
Can I get an All-American girl?
That was the best.
Oh, hey, so
All-American
so,
girl.
as Gus loses his voice. So if you watch the Indiana football segment on 60 Minutes,
Wow.
they play the touchdown against Penn State.
Oh, you mean
just-
this one?
It just reminds you that call, and I'm like, oh
That's what he sounded. He sounded like Super Mario. He also sounds like R2D2 when R2D2 like falls down. That's what he sounds like. Or like the classic like Scream, the Star Wars movie, where like it's in the when that dude falls into the big pit, into the sand dune pit.
Poor Gus.
Did you guys watch the 60 Minutes with Indiana football?
No,
I saw a couple
did not.
clips on TikTok with Signetti.
no, but
So they had Signetti, Mendoza, the AD, and John Cougar Mellencamp, or John Mellencamp, whatever they call him these days.
my mother is obsessed.
Drop
with,
the Cougar.
My mother is obsessed with her Cuban
Mark
baby.
Cuban?
No, with her Cuban baby Fernando Mendoza, and she's been sending me Fernando Mendoza inspirational
Creepy.
speeches and quotes and highlights on Instagram.
Interesting.
She sent me one. She sent me like a.
How Cuban is he?
He's Cuban. He's Cuban.
Well, he doesn't seem very Cuban.
He's from Miami. Oh, he's very Cuban. Like he is. Gary can
Yes.
attest. He's one of the most
Yeah.
Cuban looking guys. You get bushy eyebrows, the brownish hair,
Okay,
the
so
skin.
I
He's
get it.
white.
I
Skin
get it.
color. No, the skin color is different.
okay.
Dude, first off, Cubans come in all form of the rainbow.
I understand,
If
but he
you
doesn't
are-
seem
For
Cuban.
example, so he's from Miami.
He's
If
very
you were
Cuban.
in Miami,
Full question,
you'd be
does
able to
Fernando
pick him
Mendoza
out as a
seem-
Cuban.
He's very much a Cuban. He's
Oh,
got the-
really? If you're in Miami with all the other Cubans, you would say that guy's Cuban?
he is
He has a distinct look.
he is a distinct, like, first off, his skin, like he's white, but he's
Alright.
got that olive tint. I
I'm
kind of
writing it
have it
down.
a little bit.
I got it.
I got
Jay.
it. I got a bit of the Cuban white in me. He's got the Cuban white. He's got a great jaw. He's got the Cuban jawline. His eyebrows are real bushy. If I was 5 times better looking, I would look like Fernando Mendoza.
He is our favorite, like, dorky quarterback.
He's awesome.
Full question up at Happer Show. Does Fernando Mendoza seem Cuban?
That's
Just
it's kind of
block out the
racist.
last name.
It's kind of racist.
It's not seemed Cuban. He is Cuban.
What
He's
if his
full-
name
But does he seem Cuban? It's a different question.
That is true.
Then is he Cuban?
How does he seem to you?
He doesn't seem Cuban.
What is Cuban? How do you have to seem Cuban in your eyes?
It doesn't have to
What
be
is
any
Would you
seeming-
sort
like
of.
him to
Yeah.
look more like Fidel Castro?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Not
Do you
necessarily.
want him to go on the?
I just
do you
wouldn't-
want him to go on the microphone and be like, "I can't believe we won. I love communism."
So you're telling me if you lined up like 5 white dudes and you were like, one of these dudes is Cuban, you have to
Yes.
pick out who you would
I
say him.
grew up
Oh, okay,
Cuban.
here's a
I am.
comparison.
You're literally. I am the white dude. You
Okay.
would line up and be like, "Pick the Cuban."
Okay, who is more Cuban in your world?
All right,
Frank Martin, former K-State basketball coach, took South Carolina to the Final Four.
I remember.
Or Fernando Mendoza.
Now this is where you get into the racist territory.
There it is.
Both are Cuban.
I'm glad
Both
you
are
could
Cuban.
recognize that. Hey, check Tuesday, brother. Check
Hey.
Tuesday.
Frank Martin, Fernando Mendoza.
It's.
I don't want to answer that.
Yeah,
question.
I'm just curious as to what would seeming Cuban would be like. Would he have to be eating a pork and ham sandwich on the television broadcast for you to be like,
I
Cuban?
I never would have pegged it.
Would
Yeah,
you like him
like-
to do an NIL for Pollo Tropical?
Yeah.
All right. Would you like him to be
Like-
passing out
like-
plantains?
Exactly. Like what do you want him to do? You want him to pull up to the game in a 1972 Ford?
But I'm not
like-
like, hey, look, here's Fernando Mendoza, that Cuban quarterback.
Well, I mean, his last name's Mendoza, and if you know anything about what Cubans look like, you'd be like Cuban.
Okay. Well, let me look up another picture.
I grew
of him.
up with 4 Fernando Mendozas. They were just named Alejandro and Juan
Yeah, I guess I see it a little bit
and
now.
Jose and Juan Antonio and Juan Victorino and Juan Lazo.
Yeah, he was born in Boston. Not very.
But he's
Cuban.
from Miami.
Not very Cuban.
He went to very much a Cuban high school.
He did.
in Miami.
Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
He looked down the line and said "Adelante" at the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
So is he bilingual? Does he speak Spanish?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
1,000,000%.
Okay.
He's
That's just asking.
he said Spanish at his Heisman speech.
Oh, okay.
He said to my abuela, I love you both so much. You are my heart. Tu es mi corazón.
All 4 of his grandparents were born and raised in Cuba.
Yeah, that's kind of how.
That makes him Cuban.
Yes.
But
Yes,
his
yes, it does.
grandparents
That's who he'd
moved
be
from.
playing for in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay, definitely, definitely.
Or the
Now,
Olympics.
We have loose terms on
Yeah.
that.
If there were to be football in the Olympics, Fernando Mendoza
Flag
would represent Cuba.
Wow, this is news to me.
That's why like the New York Jets are so excited about the potential marketing opportunities to a whole different fan base in New York City.
Good one.
Sure.
Good one. Oh yeah, that guy.
The Aki way.
The Aki guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Now he's got.
I was gonna go to the Pinstripe Bowl last year just to stop at the Aki store.
The Aki guy, he's gotten too big for his britches.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's now he's like upcharging everybody. Like, you want an Aki style sandwich? It's a lot. It's like a Cat's Deli
I think
sandwich
last
nowadays.
time I was there, I guess it would have been in March for the Big East tournament. I was like, I got like 6 hours to spare. Can I get over there? And then I went to Cat's instead.
Dude, I see Cat's Deli all the time.
It's so good.
On my YouTube, and I'm like, I have to go. I haven't had a good pastrami sandwich in so
You got
long.
about $50, you'll be able to get a good one there.
It's the
worth it.
It actually wasn't like I was pretty
28,
yeah,
$30
it was in the neighborhood of 30, but I got a sandwich and I got like fries or whatever. And
You can customize it too, right? You could put like beef tongue on it as well. I've seen people do that.
Oh,
They
yeah,
recommend that.
Then
or-
they throw in that pickle spear, and now you're looking at $45.
I wanted to go up to the dude and be like, just mess me up, man.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
just
think it did.
give me whatever.
Seriously. I go to a hibachi grill. I say that. I go, give me the meat. They go, okay. What
Mhm.
meat? I go,
got you.
I go, what do you think? He goes, how about we do a Shogun dinner? I go, say less. Say less.
All right.
It's like, and I'm like, it's on my dad's tab.
Have a good show. Enjoy Dana.
Oh yeah.
Are you
What's he
gonna
say
Are you gonna
today?
broadcast Dana live?
No.
Okay. Jeez,
Why
that was
not?
quick.
I don't know.
He's your guy. You have a Dana Holgerson
Hey.
t-shirt.
That's true.
He might be on one today.
Well,
I
we'll
am
get the
I am
quotes.
I am convinced that he will drop one of these two coaching cliches.
What time's that start? 11:15.
He will either
11:15.
he will either say, I'm only going to talk about the guys that are here, or he will say, I don't have a crystal ball.
I'm pretty sure he can be like, look, he's not here anymore, and he's told everybody he's leaving, and so
Yeah, but
that-
I think Rule wants to talk about it.
of course he does.
I think he's going to save that.
The
for
only reason that that Dana wouldn't talk about it today is because Rule wants to be the person who tells everybody.
Yes,
'Cause
exactly.
He has an obsession with telling
hey,
people. stuff.
Connor, it's not your story to tell. All right,
Yeah, clearly it must not be Dana's either.
it's nobody's. Except for
Frost
Beth.
never talked about Martinez.
Well, I think we know. He
Never talked to Martinez either.
Well, because he had his jaw and it was wired shut, so he couldn't have conversations with him. Nope. Have a good show.
All right, that is the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha. Everlevelconcrete.com. It is Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Joey Colbert back with you for day number 2 of the week. What will come of today?
A lot of questions to be answered.
Yeah, we have some things to explore here on the radio today. And so we're glad you're along on this beautiful, beautiful journey with us. Alan Bell's going to join us at 11:30, and we'll talk some football with him, NFL reaction, overreaction. The Riders winding down for the regular season.
Yes, sir. It's
Coming up at 12:30 today.
last 3 weeks of the NFL. A lot of questions to be answered.
Packers Joey is very concerned about his team's immediate future.
Not too concerned on one side of the football because our top receiver Watson could be playing this Saturday against the Bears. It's just the
Okay.
defense. I've been asking this all season long.
Now, will you be forced to watch the Packers Bears game in the same vicinity as young Matt again?
Well, the game's going to start 10 minutes before the Creighton game, so Blue Jay overtime will be taking place during that fourth quarter. So Matt will be talking to whoever is the Creighton assistant coach at that time, while the Packers are kind of closing out the game with a win,
Of course.
reclaiming the top spot of the NFC North.
Of course. So we may be
That'll be a good test for little McMaster.
will be
This will be my third or fourth game this season having to watch it while producing a Creighton game, and I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated here.
Creighton
So
doesn't
just good luck.
Creighton doesn't play on
They play Saturday. They got Marquette Saturday.
the football game is on Saturday now.
It's part of the
Oh.
so those two games, the Packers, Bears, and Commanders, Eagles, they were originally announced as a doubleheader for that Saturday, and they did not determine the time until a couple weeks ago.
So how many games in the NFL are on Saturday?
There's going to be
this week?
2. There's 2 games this Saturday. They're both on Fox,
Okay.
and then most on Sunday.
So we got
got your
Eagles,
Thursday night.
Commanders at 4, Packers, Bears at 7:20.
Yep.
And then a full slate on the. I'm glad there's not. I'm glad it's not more spread out and there's not more games on on Saturday.
I'm just happy the next 2 Packer games are on Saturday. They got this game, and then they got the Peacock game against the Ravens 2 days after Christmas.
Take this advice potentially from O-Trips on YouTube. Joey, it's okay. You don't need to watch the Creighton game. We stink.
I mean, I bring my laptop for the Creighton game whenever the Packers are on. I use the big TV to kind of focus on that.
Some people, we got to stick through it.
Secret.
Stick through it through thick and thin because that's what we do in all kinds of weather, I suppose they say. So yes, busy week for Joey and a busy week for the Riders as they get going today at about 12:30 with NFL reaction, overreaction. I do want to talk about Creighton. We didn't do it enough yesterday and sort of where they're at right now and what's to come this week with a road game at Xavier tomorrow. And then we'll talk a lot about Nebraska football during this show. A lot about Nebraska football during this show. What's the direction at quarterback coming up next? And all the different Dylan topics. Also, Joel Klatt has checked in with a take.
Oh boy.
Joel Klatt has checked in with a take. We'll hear from Joel during the show. Can I interest anybody in a bracket of bracketology?
More brackets?
We have brackets. More and more
early?
brackets. You're starting to see it more and
Oh,
more.
boy.
People are moving on to basketball season. Also, Dana Holgerson, Nebraska's offensive coordinator, will be speaking today at around 11:15. We will keep you updated on the things that he has to say today. Alan Bell is our guest. That is our lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We want to hear from you all today, 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You could call or text that number, tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, email Connor or Jay Colbert. Connor at 1620thezone.com, Jay Colbert at nrgmedia.com.
Yeah, I don't have the 1620 The Zone
I believe if you email chapper@nrgmedia.com, it will also go to me. Same thing.
It'll just redirect.
That's my more professional email address. So if you're interested in getting the NRG branding in there, then feel free to do so on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How we doing? People mixing it up in the chat this morning. It's great to see. Joey's got his Omaha hoodie on. The Mavs play tonight.
They play York, Nebraska at 7 o'clock.
York College or York. Did they change? Did they
York,
rebrand to York University or just York?
I think York College.
York College. They're coming to town tonight.
Yes, and that'll be a little This is a little preview on what to listen
to. Listen to Gary on 1290 Coil coming up this evening at for the Mavs game. And that's the setup for today's show. Like I said, glad you're with us this morning / afternoon. We would love to hear from you all throughout the show today. Please get in touch. We'll take your calls, we'll take your texts, we'll take your comments, wherever they may come from. We'll be back and start things off next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. right, welcome back. Rascal Flats is bringing the Life is a Highway tour to Omaha with special guests Lauren Elena and Chris Lane, Saturday, January 24th at CHI Health Center. Listen all week to Unsportsmanlike Conduct for your chance to win your way into the show. More details online, 1620thezone.com. We want to get you into stuff. That's what we're here for. But don't text me and ask me for tickets because I usually don't have any. I don't have tickets to nothing.
We're telling you how to win.
We're telling you how to win. This is how you do it. I'll direct you to 1620thezone.com or to listen to our daily radio shows where we'll give away a variety of different things. We have something to give away, I think, this week. We have
Yes, we do.
AW New Year's Eve Dynamite Smash.
Yes, we do.
New Year's Smash Dynamite on New Year's Eve. So we'll have those and opportunities for you to win this week. I found the reaction very, I don't know, maybe I wasn't necessarily surprised yesterday at the fan reaction and the conversation surrounding Dylan Raiola and his intention to enter the transfer portal. By the way, yeah, I am still curious what Dana Holgerson is going to say here in about 30 minutes or so. We'll see how how official or whatever it becomes. So we'll see. But I found the conversation surrounding Dylan I guess fascinating.
It's a hell of a timing for this to happen after Nebraska basketball is riding high on an 11-0 start.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Yeah,
the fan base is feeling good, and then you get the news a couple days later, which I thought was expected to happen. It was just when it was going to be announced,
right? Yeah,
but there's some
the volleyball
really
stuff.
concerned.
There's a little bit of that, but I sort of mean like how he retrospectively how his time here was viewed, and then what changed yesterday. People were I saw one of the burner tweets that was like the video of him doing the very Mahomesian jump around and scream thing before the game, and the person was like, hey, can we finally admit that this was weird now? Stuff like that. And
people were defending, and now it's
right.
People are now siding with the people who are cringing at those actions.
That's pretty normal.
It is.
That's pretty normal. And then the poem got a lot of run back again yesterday for the first time in a couple years. The poem came back up.
I totally forgot he wrote a poem.
So like you said, Joe, you used the word cringe there. All the cringe stuff was sort of brought back up yesterday, and it was way more of in the Nebraska fan base and in the Nebraska talkosphere, it was way more like, okay, let's brush our shoulders off and get ready for whatever is next at the very least. And at the most, it was sweet. Awesome. Thank you for leaving. And I'm glad we can.
Thank you for your service.
We can rid ourselves of whatever that experiment was over the last 2 years. And then you juxtapose that with some of the national reaction from yesterday. And, I do think it sort of underscores, Dylan's time here. There was the one tweet from Stuart Mandel who was like, oh boy, Dylan was the one thing that was sort of propping this thing up over the last 2 years. He was all they had. What are they going to do now? And that just couldn't be further from what people think around here, or honestly from the reality of the situation either. And, I just, when you think about Dylan and his time here, one of the questions that people were asking yesterday was like, hey, was the juice worth the squeeze? And the juice that Dylan Raiola brought to Nebraska's program, it's pretty debatable, and now it's under intense scrutiny over the last couple of years, because from the football side of things, I mean, I want to go through the stats here in just a second, and the record and all those different things. You could argue from a football standpoint, the program didn't really elevate at all. Okay. Did he do what he thought, or what we thought he was going to do, which is immediately raise the profile of the program? Well, you tell me. I do think Nebraska got more attention. I do think Nebraska got more, I don't know, there was more conversation about it. There was a built-in there was a built-in thing to talk about when television networks came to broadcast Nebraska's games over the last 2 years. Hey, it's Dylan Raiola versus enter quarterback here. Bryce Underwood was the big one this year. Or in his first game, it's Dylan Raiola's debut, and it's Dylan Raiola versus this, and it's Dylan Raiola versus that. And that was built in for the networks to be able to, sort of highlight during their game broadcasts. But I also wonder, not to pile on too much, but I also wonder if the attention that he brought was, they say all pub is good pub and all notoriety is good or whatever. I'm not so sure that that's the case. I don't think that's a hard truth universally, as some people want to believe it is. But the idea was that he brings this conversation about the program, elevates the program's status from the conversation standpoint, and then the football ends up being good. But when the football's not good and he doesn't really look good in the process, certainly doesn't fit the bill of the top whatever quarterback in the class, 5-star and stuff like that, then it becomes a punchline. And I they had to embody all of that stuff over the last couple of years. They had to be a program that I guess I shouldn't say they had to, but they chose to become a program that felt like it was a little bit more flash than actual substance. Felt like it was a little bit more hat than cattle, right? And I think the coach sort of steered into that a little bit, because one of Matt Rule's things was, hey, I'm doing all this stuff for recruiting, and we're going to do the podcast, and I want to be out front. I want to spread the good word about Nebraska football. And they put themselves out there from that perspective. And then the football turned out to not be that good. And like I said, after that happens, it turns out to be a punchline. I don't feel like that was Matt Rule's. I don't feel like that's his personality. I feel like it's interesting what he has become over the last couple of years. And I do think Dylan, the conversation about Dylan is sort of heavily has its foot on the scale in this situation. Does Nebraska want to highlight itself and promote itself in the way that it had been over the last couple of years, pointing to Dylan Raiola and say, hey, this program is cool, and this is why? Some of that is just stuff that you have to do from a recruiting standpoint to get people here. But I never felt like that was Rule's personality. You flash back to when he got here, and you flash back to the things that he was building at Baylor and Temple, and it felt to me that, and this is from the outside looking in, and without knowing exactly how it looked or sounded at either of those places, but it felt like those felt like a couple programs that were just sort of, they were workmanlike, and they were getting things done sort of behind the scenes, and it wasn't like, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is how we elevate our program. We elevate our program by playing good football and winning games. And, it felt like it's been the opposite over the last couple of years at Nebraska. And so to flash it forward and to look ahead a little bit, I wonder if the conversation, the I don't know, how you present the program changes at all going forward, knowing a couple things. Number one, you have already gone down this line a little bit. You're going into year 4 for Matt Rule, and now is no time to be like, hey, we're back to step 1, and we're going to go ahead and reshape what we've been talking about over the last couple years. But maybe the departure of Dylan Raiola can, and then depending on what they get in the transfer portal and the players that they end up getting in the transfer portal, on top of whoever the quarterback might be next year, could help you paint that picture a little bit more clear. Maybe Nebraska football just becomes a little bit more quiet, a little bit more workmanlike, a little bit less hat, a little bit more cattle, over the next however many years, or especially this offseason and going into next year. I've never, Riley tried to do this, this whole like make Lincoln cool thing, this has to be like the LA of the Midwest. And I guess I appreciate to a certain extent when the staffs come in and they're like, hey, I love this town. This town is great, and this is a great place to be, and this is a great campus to be, and I just want to highlight. But I also don't want to make it. I don't want them to make it something that it's not, and I just don't know if Lincoln is the right place to say, hey, look, the stars come here, and it ends up putting more scrutiny and pressure on players that you've already had a tough time sort of convincing to them, like, hey, look, you're not going to have it all handed to you and stuff like that. I don't know. There's just so much baked into that conversation. And maybe now with Dylan not being here anymore, you can reset that messaging a little bit as a program that's looking really, really deep, and probably a conversation for, a couple months just to see how this turns out. But those are sort of some of the thoughts that were going through my head yesterday.
I thought there was just a lot of attention with the program. It doesn't really help that much when you got Will Compton kind of leading that, making Nebraska the very bright spot, and they're still hovering that mid range in the college football landscape, and having Dylan Raiola being the center of attention. When Rule was at Baylor and Temple, you kind of mentioned there wasn't as much pressure because there was hardly
doing it quietly.
There weren't any flashy guys on there. They just did their stuff behind the scenes, and they kind of,
and some of that is the profile of the programs, right?
I mean,
it's not as big as Nebraska.
We kind of didn't see them get the national attention, or Matt Rule getting national attention in Temple until they had that big primetime game against Notre Dame. They played a real good game with them, obviously losing to a top 25 team, but he kind of worked behind the scenes, and then elevating Baylor after their scandal with Art Briles. He just went to work back from the dead.
Just went to work, developed players, put a bunch into the NFL. A lot of the guys that Rule has in the NFL right now that he coached weren't stars in college, and they certainly weren't mega stars and faces coming out of high school. They just, elevated their profile through Matt Rule's program and through Matt Rule's system.
The key thing is just getting guys that work well together, that fits the program's identity.
Yeah, but then they have to figure out what their identity is.
Yeah, they got to.
So I'll be curious to see, how that messaging is sort of shaped going forward. We get this text from Aaron, who writes in. He says, I was in Rule's corner about national exposure for a long time, but I turned my page for some certain stuff off the field, needing to be a voice of an extension, and the results haven't followed. Totally understand that. And said, we don't need to help people make us be the punching bags. We've gave Dylan and family too much rope, and now it feels like we aren't any further ahead than before. Same stuff, new regime, perpetually spinning our tires. And then Aaron follows up and he says this: to be honest, Nebraska basketball might be the perfect way to show how you get national attention organically.
Yeah.
They tried to go get hot stars, big recruits, NBA potential guys, and that wasn't it. And it almost cost
play well together.
It almost cost Fred Hoiberg his job. And now they've kept their head down and built something and slowly continued to go uphill, and is now getting a lot of attention for the best reasons. That's how you do it. That you can't fake that stuff, man. You can't, if you want attention, first of all, reevaluate your goals if the thing that you want is attention, right? Yep. If you are striving for attention, reevaluate your goals as a college football or basketball program or whatever it might be. And I do feel like there's been a lot of what Nebraska's done over the last 2 years that has just been asking for attention. And
you had that with Raiola as the quarterback. You had that with Will Compton having his top show, Matt Rule making a lot of the Pat McAfee show appearances, having his podcast.
Stop with the attention.
Showcasing the university a lot.
This is
when they're still in that mid range.
And people will say, Joey, people will say like, all right, well, you're trying to convince me that attention and having people talk about you is a bad thing. Well, it's not if you can translate that attention into, all right, people have an understanding of what's going on here at Nebraska. Oh, I like
the results
this.
are going to matter.
I like this. I like what they have moving here. And so, yes, this is a program that has a little bit of juice to it now. And it's inorganic, to use a word that Aaron used there on the text line. It's an inorganic type of thing. And so there are ways to sort of do it and feel it out. And it all comes back to, playing good football and winning football games. I think there's a lot of, this season, and I guess the last 2 seasons now, they don't have to win all these games. They don't have to go undefeated. They don't have to make the college football playoff
make progress, make good progress.
In order for people to understand that you're playing good football, you just have to play good football consistently. And you know what it is when you see it. And whatever I saw this back half of this year, it wasn't it. And really for the first half of this year.
Just going back to square one.
Yeah. And so the best way to do it is from an organic standpoint, not asking for attention and all these different things.
Hey,
and
look at me.
Exactly. It has felt a little bit, look at me. And some of that goes back to Dylan Raiola. And some of it goes back, most of it I think goes back to Matt Rule and sort of the way he's pointed this thing. And I go back to this, like it didn't feel like Matt Rule to me. I mean, Matt Rule has sort of become like this different thing. And so I'm willing to give some grace because I'm not a huge like fire people guy. But you're getting late in the process, and I'm willing to give some grace to like, okay, have you learned the lesson here? Has the lesson been learned that one guy isn't bigger than the program, and it's weird to build it all around one guy, and it's weird to be asking for all of this attention all the time? Have we learned our lesson on this? And do we know what to do to sort of correct it and fix it and actually just get better at the football part? Because I think I believe in him in that standpoint. But so many things had to be changed and twisted and manipulated over the last couple of years as a result of having Dylan Raiola as your quarterback. You had to sacrifice some things, and you had to not, do some things offensively that Matt Rule has made work before in his programs, simply because of what you had at that position and then the personality that you had as well. And so that's just the start. I think that's the tip of the iceberg, and it trickles down to everything else in the program. But it was one of the things that I found myself thinking about quite a bit yesterday in the aftermath of all this, now that we can have this sort of retrospective. By the way, I will tell you this. He went 13-8 as Nebraska's starter, 5-9 in the Big Ten, lost to Iowa twice, threw for 4,819 yards, 31 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, just 17 touchdowns and 15 interceptions in conference play over the last 2 years. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on that big picture idea. We got a couple tweets that I can get to and some comments on the YouTube stream as well. So let us know what you think. 402-951-1620. We'll be back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. right, a couple things from you guys. We'll get into the phone lines as well here in just one moment. Back on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Sam writes in on Twitter. He says this: I'd be a great Nebraska recruiter. I'd tell the recruits that I commute down from Omaha, and I don't know why anyone would live in Lincoln. Talking about the make Lincoln cool thing that they have sort of done.
There's a lot of crime in Lincoln, and we need someone. We need
Hey,
someone to.
If you want to come to the University of Nebraska Lincoln, it's great. It's right by Omaha. Now people get good and triggered when they hear stuff like that. So I apologize for rage baiting you all. Also, we get this. I love this from Ryan on the text line. He says the best comp for Nebraska is Rocky Balboa in Rocky 3. All right. So what happened in Rocky 3? Right. So he goes and he beats Apollo Creed. He rips off a whole bunch of championship wins. He is feeling himself, right? He is in stardom. And then it's, how cool is he? I'm not sure, but he's on top of the world. And then Clubber Lang comes along, and he's got the statue that he's unveiling of himself. And that's not Rocky. That's not Rocky's personality. Rocky is a tough, old school, back alley fighter. There's no measurables. There's nothing that says stardom on him, right? Much like the Nebraska football program. There's nothing that says stardom.
There's nothing flashy.
Nothing flashy about that football program. And then all of a sudden you start feeling yourself a little bit. You're like, I want to put up a statue of myself. And then Clubber Lang comes along and he says a whole bunch of stuff about his wife, and then a variety of different things. And you have to tap back into a different version of yourself. By the way, Charlie writes in, he says, Dylon, more like Bylon. I saw a lot of that yesterday too. Let's take a phone call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's Randy. Randy, good morning.
Hey, I don't know. I think it might have been you or one of your shows was talking about the process, months ago. And this is, when he got here, we were losing games to teams that we should beat. It's just, a lot of one-score games losing. And then eventually the process of beating the teams that we're supposed to beat, and then eventually beating some of the teams that we haven't beaten in a while, or we wouldn't necessarily be favored against. And these last two seasons, the first half has been, exactly what we'd expect. The progress of beating the teams you're supposed to beat. Then we get to the second half of the schedules, and I really would have loved to see what we could have done with if Dylan would have been healthy through the end of the year, because I think the offense was better with him. He wasn't. Yes, he wasn't playing like a 5-star, but he was playing like an above average, Big Ten quarterback, which has been an improvement over what we've had since Martinez left. So, I mean, I definitely preferred him over the Chubba Purdy, Jeff Sims era.
Yes, agreed.
So, I mean, yeah, you're right. We don't need the flashy guy. We just need a solid quarterback that will not turn the ball over. And, I hate to say this, a game manager.
I don't know. Yeah, Randy, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I don't think that the game manager thing is the direction they're headed. And I don't think it's the way they should. People oftentimes, they would call in and text in during the year, and they would, this is the excuse for the Teefies, right? They would say, yeah, we need, they absolutely have to have a mobile quarterback. They don't have to have a mobile quarterback. The mobile quarterback gives you the freedom and a little bit more margin for error with having that extra threat on the field and the playmaking type of quarterback. The non-dual threat quarterback, the pro style quarterback who theoretically is armed and capable of making all of the throws and all of the reads and doing it in a fast manner and all that stuff. That's fine, but it does make it so everybody around that person has to be really, really good. Or your margin for error is just going to be really small. And so then you run into a situation that Nebraska was in this year where their margin for error was really small. And then you're leaning on the defense a little bit in the back 2 games of the year, and the defense completely crumbles in on side of itself. It's so for the people who are like, yeah, man, I would have liked to see what would happen in the last couple games had Dylan been healthy. First of all, I'm not convinced that they go down and they score on that drive and they win the USC game and all that stuff. But I know for a fact they definitely don't beat Iowa and Penn State with Dylan Raiola at quarterback. That doesn't change a damn thing.
No.
Doesn't change a single thing at all. Nebraska's defense got bowled over in both of those games. They're not scoring enough points to beat either of those teams.
Offense can't really get anything done.
They're not scoring 40 plus against Iowa. They're not scoring 37 against Penn State or whatever it was. Like it's not happening. Even with Dylan Raiola as the quarterback. So nothing that happened at the quarterback position would have changed either of those things. That's for sure. And if you noticed, Emmett Johnson had a few great games, with the threat of a running quarterback standing next to him there in the shotgun. So, or under center, whatever it might be. So I think that's a factor here too. You could do it. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And, I think Matt Rule has been a guy throughout his career. And then pair this along with Dana Holgerson, who's going to talk here in just a couple minutes. They have always been coaches who have had mobile quarterbacks. In fact, in a lot of cases, and especially in the case of like Jeff Sims, who they did take right away, they lean to the side of, all right, if you could give us the mobile aspect, that's what we want. If you could give us the running aspect, that's what we want. And we'll make the throwing part easier on you, or we'll get you better at the throwing piece of it. That's how it feels like it's been in Matt Rule's career. That's how it feels like it's been with a little bit more emphasis on distribution on Dana Holgerson's side. And so when you think about Dylan Raiola from that perspective, he's a complete anomaly from any other person that either of those two people have coached. So I think we are certainly pointed back in the direction here of having a playmaking, running quarterback. And frankly, it is necessary for where Nebraska's at right now as a program. Big Red Fanatic writes in, great comment from Big Red Fanatic. Happer, tell us all about the mobile quarterback. Looks like you get winded going to the cookie jar. I was dragging around my daughter last night on a blanket inside of the small confines of my house, just sliding around on the floor. And I did that for probably about 6 minutes. And I was like, whoa, am I really that fat? Am I really that out of shape? Can I really
reflection.
not do like 6 minutes of hard walking? And so I really thought about that. So that really hit home with me. Thank you, Big Red Fanatic. But fortunately, my physical endurance at this stage of my life does not have any impact on what my takes are about having a mobile quarterback. Is Big Red Fanatic saying that we can't have a mobile quarterback because he gets too tired, like me dragging my daughter around the house on a blanket? Maybe. I'm not sure. Thank you, Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, who says, you're not fat, Connor. Nope, I wouldn't call myself fat, but out of shape, definitely. At this stage of my life. But luckily, like I said, that has no impact on my takes or anything else involved with Nebraska football.
It doesn't impact your way of thinking things.
I don't think so. I don't look at a quarterback who runs around a lot and think, how does he do that? I would get so tired. I try to put that out of my brain. I try to not project my physical abilities on top of like professional athletes.
Yeah.
That would be an unhealthy thing to do. That's for sure. I'd like to spend a couple minutes talking about this before we're going to continue to dive. I'm still going to ask you guys questions like, are you a Teefie? Are you really a Teefie a little bit later on in the show? But I'd like to take this moment to stop and look around a little bit and reiterate my point from last week. All right. So whenever somebody enters the transfer portal, and by the way, the transfer portal has not even opened yet. There will be more intentions to enter the transfer portal over the next several days, and there will be more people entering the transfer portal once the second of the year comes and the portal officially opens. And so I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you live and die on everything with Nebraska football, and when any piece of news comes of somebody leaving the program or somebody getting fired or somebody getting hired that doesn't have a resume that is up to your standards, you might freak out. You might say, it's over. We're done. Nothing good will ever happen to this program again. What are we going to do next year? Our schedule is impossible. We will lose 100 games next year. They only play 12. We will lose 100 games next year. If you are one of those people, I'd like to invite you to just lay back a little bit. Maybe take a month off from football. I'm not telling you to not listen to the radio show. I love when you listen to the radio show and all the podcasts and all the content and stuff like that. But consider me to be the voice of calm in this otherwise tumultuous time. The hits are not done coming. I'd like to prepare you. I'd like to warn you. The hits are not done coming. However you feel about the program right now, you're probably not going to feel any better in about 14 days. Over Christmas, if you're thinking about Nebraska football and your people and your family asks you, what is Nebraska football going to do? Or you ask one of your family members, what is Nebraska going to do? You should say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I don't know how good it's going to be. We don't even have any sort of idea what the roster is going to look like next year at this point. But the hits are going to keep coming, and it's going to continue to feel worse and worse over the next couple weeks. And then the first of the year will roll around. And then there'll probably be some more people who go into the portal. But let's say middle of January rolls around. We're getting ready to watch highly competitive college football semifinal playoff games and national championships and playoffs in the NFL.
Yep.
We're very, very excited. And then you might have the inclination to compare Nebraska to some of those teams, and then you'll get sad again. But I would invite you not to. I would invite you to think about the players that Nebraska will inevitably get. They will get players out of the transfer portal. They will start to rebuild their case for offseason national championships. And then you'll start seeing videos of like mat drills and offseason workouts, and you'll realize that the players from your favorite college football teams look very strong and they have big muscles. And you will say, whoa, hold on now. They might have something going here. Just wait till that time before you make any conclusions, emotional conclusions about how things are going to be around here.
That's the
forward.
Husker football fan cycle.
Indeed. Yeah. As Sam writes in, be a jogger. Go around and take some jogs and don't think about Nebraska football.
Be a Josh Peterson.
I hope Sam isn't thinking about Creighton basketball while he takes his jogs, although he probably is. But he's had a lot to look back on and say, wow, those were great times. Now we're going into a different time right now. Big Red Fanatic falls up again. I want to get to some of these YouTube comments, by the way. I feel like I've ignored you guys today. And not just Big Red Fanatic either. Can't wait for next spring so Happer could tell the average fan how great the team is. Yeah, so and then Kent writes in on Twitter. He says, man, Connor's pumping the sunshine today. Whoa, did anything what I just said just sound like pumping sunshine?
No.
Okay. So I just told you that it's going to get maybe that was the sarcasm. But I just want to let you guys know I get accused of pumping sunshine and I get accused of being too negative at the same time. I would just like people to make up their minds on what it is. I calls them as I sees them. Okay. I thought Nebraska would win 8 games this year. They won 7. I thought Dylan Raiola would be a little bit better in his second year than he was in his first year. He wasn't. It wasn't that much better. I thought Nebraska would take a little step forward as a program. They didn't. I had small expectations for this team, and they fell below them. All right? So I don't know how I could be confused as a person who's going to pump any sunshine around here. Okay. So we'll see what happens in the transfer portal. We'll see what they get as far as a quarterback is concerned, and we'll see how the defense comes together, and we'll hear all the people in the program talk and tell us what they think the thing is going to look like. But I do think we are past or getting close to past the time of like, we go through day by day on these shows, and people bring up every single day. They bring up the rule line from, before fall camp, and he was asked about the questions on the defensive line, and he said that they were going to be hell on wheels. And people still bringing that up to throw it in his face several months later. And so I do think there will be a sentiment and an element of this offseason. Whatever he says, people are just going to be like, yeah, I don't really care anymore. I don't really care what you tell us anymore. I would just like to see quality football.
I want to see the results.
Happen? And there's nothing, so from this perspective, it's going to be a long offseason because Nebraska doesn't play. Well, I guess they play another game in a couple weeks, but I don't play another game after that until September. And I think for a lot of people, there's not much that can be done or get said that will make them feel any better. For others, they'll live and die on everything the coach says and agree and say, well, yeah, I think this is going to be good. And this is the way they're going to step up. And this is what's going to happen. But, anyway, I don't think I should probably be confused as a sunshine pupper. Kent confirms, by the way, on Twitter that it was sarcasm. Thank you very much. Here's Brian. I've refused the past 2 seasons, and I'll refuse again when Connor tells me to untether myself and believe in this football team. I'm sure it's coming soon. No. I told you about that. I told you to untether yourself 2 years ago. Matt Rule's second year, when I was still high on Dylan Raiola because he really hadn't played much yet. And, I thought that they were, going to make a little bit of a jump that year. I did not tell you to untether yourself this year. Get the facts straight. I did not tell you to untether yourself.
We did not tell you that Nebraska was going to be a 10-win team.
Yeah, from the 402. Don't put it on the internet that Connor pumps sunshine. That is exactly correct. Exactly correct. All right. Let's see. Do we have any emails that we got to get to here? People sending me ideas for quarterbacks to look at. This is good. We'll talk about that throughout the show today. John emails in on Randy's call. He says, what teams is Nebraska, quote unquote, supposed to beat? At this point, I would say Rule does not have Nebraska in a position to be supposed to be beating many teams at all. Yeah, I do think they've raised the floor over the last couple of years. I do think Nebraska is in a better position as a program, like a program wide perspective. But as I've said throughout the season, even when Nebraska was 6-1 this year, I said, I don't know if Rule's the person to make that big leap. I don't know if Rule's the person to get the program to where you guys want it to go. I do think that he has raised the floor of the program, though, from a top to bottom standpoint.
He made it better since the Scott Frost era.
I think so. I feel that way, even though it doesn't look a whole lot better from a record perspective.
Yeah, since Riley's downfall in those 5 years with Scott Frost, Nebraska never got to those 6 wins. No. He's already done it twice. It's just trying to get a little more.
There's a record piece in there, and then there's like a top to bottom, what are you looking at from a roster perspective and coaching and all that. And I think he's done that. Seth writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox, says jogging is for women and scrawny weak men. Your thoughts? I would like to jog. I'd like to be a jogger. I just don't do it because I probably don't have the physical endurance to do so.
Would you
like to jog, Joey?
I tell myself I would like to try that, but I haven't had the courage to do such a thing. I'll probably stick with the walking in flannel shirts.
Walking in the flannel shirts.
People forget.
Let's see. Wow, what is coming in the YouTube comments? Jimmy writes, says, Connor, I admit you would always say we all need to relax and all is fine. Yeah, I'm just not a super. I try to approach things from a non emotional standpoint as much as I possibly can. I don't like to fly off the handle.
I try to
a
not
whole lot.
stay emotionally invested
Wow,
too much.
Big Red Fanatic is here again. Nebraska media has the access the common fan doesn't. You should be embarrassed how you gaslight the fans who pay thousands for tickets and follow the team no matter what. I don't know what Big Red Fanatic is talking about.
I have no idea.
Awesome. Let's take a quick break. Alan Bell is going to join us on the other side. We'll talk some NFL with them. I'm glad this has been a productive time and a very productive segment, and definitely makes a young man feel good about himself. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Dana Holgerson. He's talking. People wondered. They said, is he going to talk about Dylan today? What could he possibly say? The portal isn't even open. Is he going to make this official? What will happen? Here is Dana Holgerson on the, as I pull up the tweet that I was looking at. He says Nebraska will look in the portal for another quarterback to add to the group that returns TJ Lateef and Marcos Davila. The way I look at it, you get the best player you can. He said he enjoyed working with Dylan and wishes him the best. So for those of you wondering exactly what Dana would say to acknowledge it, there he does that. I also want to mention this. This is a funny one. College football around this time of year. It will never. I shouldn't say never, but I'm still in the stage where it's a little bit jarring to see stuff like this. This is from the USC football account, and to my knowledge, this is first time I've really seen it like officially recognized by the individual school. Jaden Mayava has re-signed with the USC Trojans, and there's a literal picture of him sitting at a big desk like you would if you're signing a big NFL free agency contract with a graphic in the background on a screen that says re-signed Jaden Mayava, and then it's him literally signing a contract at a table with USC gear on. What a weird time.
My second contract.
What a weird time that we're in college football right now. But this is the world that we live in. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by Alan Bell, driving the line. AB, good morning to you. How are we doing?
Good morning, my friend. Doing all right. And, I was just listening to your conversation. You're right. Isn't it, like, it's weird to see that picture, the re-sign. And then think about if you're a coach. You have to re-recruit everybody like every 7 months, man. It's just exhausting job.
It's crazy. I don't know when this is going to become normalized for me, but the answer to that question is not right now. I'm not prepared to see, not that I'm like against it, like you said, Alan. I mean, this is just kind of what you have to do these days. But then people want to make their intentions publicly known of what's going to happen, and so there he is at the desk signing the contract like he's signing a multi-year free agency deal in the NFL.
It's wild. I mean, it really is. And I'm with you. It's going to take me a while to get used to it. Now, another thing in college football that I am used to is asking the question, did Nebraska and Tennessee have the same season? And the answer, consecutive again, is yes. Nebraska and Tennessee had about the exact same season. So Nebraska fans, I understand it. Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame that, I think Nebraska is probably one win away from probably getting to play Tennessee in a bowl game. Who is Tennessee playing in their bowl game? Do we even know?
Illinois.
Yeah, so okay.
They're playing Illinois in the Music City Bowl, so it's in Nashville. And that's another thing. These bowl games, they're going regional now, which is probably smart, right? For people to attend. But this bowl season is going to be wild too, no doubt.
Nebraska is playing Utah on New Year's Eve. And they are, I believe at the last check, 16.5 point underdogs in this game. It'll be Kyle Whittingham's Utah Swan Song. I don't know what's going to happen with him next, but they're like one of the very few bowl teams that didn't make the college football playoff that seems genuinely excited about the situation that they're in. And it's in Las Vegas and it's easy to travel to for Utah. So I don't know, we do gambling stuff on this show. I don't know if I tell you to lay the 16.5, but I do not. I do indeed feel comfortable about Utah winning that football game, maybe potentially by a wide margin.
Yeah, that's the tough part. It's like it's one of the very few teams that actually is motivated to go win this game. I know, man. Tough draw there.
All right, let's go off to the NFL here from another weekend that was. Now we have spent quite a lot of time this year talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I feel like we've ridden the emotional roller coaster with them. They're good. They know how to win football games. We love Baker Mayfield. Is Baker Mayfield the MVP? And now the vibes are so bad. They lose to the Falcons in disastrous fashion on Thursday night. And then we'll pair along the other team in that division who had a chance to really grab a hold of it, especially considering that they meet this week, the Panthers and the Bucs, but they lost to the Saints. What in the world is going to happen in the disastrous NFC South?
Apparently, the Saints are going to win the division.
The Saints are like playing the best out of everybody. It's weird.
They really are. I know, it's scary, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. It feels like the Bucs are like every parent, like after Christmas, where you're like, I just need a week. Just leave me alone. I don't need any bills. I don't need any questions. Just give me a week, right? And they can't get it because it's just the NFL season just keeps coming at them. And then the Panthers, I mean, and the thing with the Panthers, they had it too.
Yep.
Oh, they had it and just let it go. The Bucs, they just haven't looked right for a few weeks now. I don't know what to do with them. Like, I don't want to write them off. I don't want to write off Baker Mayfield, but
I don't either.
Can't buy into them now.
I'm totally with you. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to quit them, even if they just barely squeak into the playoffs, which, I mean, they're going to have 2 of the last 3 weeks they play the Panthers, so their destiny, I guess, is still in their own hands. But it ain't right now. At the same time, I could very easily see them win, going on I guess they'd probably be they'd be a host for a playoff game. They could win a playoff game. You know what I mean? Against a really good team going up on the other side.
Yeah, no doubt. They're going to be a betting disaster. Like, I don't mean disaster negatively. Like, that's going to be a hard game. Yeah, if they host, no doubt.
Okay, we can finally do it. After weeks and weeks of contemplation, it's over for the Kansas City Chiefs, who not only lost, but lost their starting quarterback for the remainder of the year and for, a good chunk of next year as well. These in the days afterwards, Alan, it's sort of become like following along with the Kansas City people. It's been like hey, we need to kind of appreciate what we just saw. And now there's like a reset coming up. How would you view, considering that you're not going to have Mahomes for the first half of next year? What would you consider the stage that the Chiefs are about to go into here in this next, iteration of whatever it is?
Yeah, it's a great question. Look, I mean, obviously injuries are the worst and just brutal in that area. So, covering from that, and from a Chiefs perspective, from a fan, and I don't want to tell fans how to feel, they all know it's a good fan base. Yeah, you could walk and chew gum at the same time. Appreciate what everybody's seen, which Chiefs fans have done throughout. And then number 2, all you can do is use this situation to get younger and to get better, right? All right, let's see the young guys. What do we have behind Patrick Mahomes? Who's the futures? I don't think anybody's thinking Gardner Minshew. Like, you don't have to figure it all out, but the more that you can build out the depth, the better it's going to be for everybody. So that's really all you can do is just put your head down and get to work for next year. You know what I mean? So start mapping out the depth chart.
Yeah,
as boring as that sounds, that's it. Yeah.
There's something to the natural break. We did not make the playoffs. We're going to try and figure out some things about ourselves over the next couple weeks. And we also don't have the side story of, Mahomes is playing and he's not going to make the playoffs and all that stuff. There's almost something to like, all right, now we really can hit the reset button, whatever that might look like. It could end up being, I don't know. I don't want to say it could end up being an advantage for them because you're losing an all-pro, monster at quarterback. But, you could look at this as an opportunity to, like you said, Alan, get better in other places.
Yeah, no doubt. And use the experience. Look, here's another thing. Look, and one is in Nashville. Look how many front office people from Kansas City have become GMs, right? So you're constantly getting better everywhere across the organization. Like you said, it's nothing that you ask for, but you're just working with what you got and saying, all right, we got to get better somehow. Let's go do it.
Right. All right. Looking ahead at this week, we have a huge game on Thursday night. Rams and Seahawks. And there is quite a lot on the line. Anything you're looking ahead to for Thursday night or the rest of the slate? We do have the introduction of some Saturday games this week and then another, pretty full slate on Sunday.
Yeah, so, pay attention to those Saturday games. You're going to see points in them. I know it sounds dumb, but you just do this time of year. Also, all right, with this Rams and Seahawks game, don't overthink it. You're going to see a bunch of points in here. Now, the problem with Seattle is that they can't score in the first half of games. I don't understand it. But the Rams can. So if you're a first half better, look to Los Angeles, but don't overthink it. The Rams are the better team, but the Seahawks, they're dangerous, buddy. Just bet on points. You're going to get them on both sides.
How much did you enjoy, speaking of the Seahawks, did you catch any of the Phillip Rivers show on?
Yeah.
I mean, what? This is so weird. It was just so weird to look at. I don't even know how to describe it other than that. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah. And he's going out there like knows the playbook. He's audibling. Like, you're like, dude, what is this, man? I love everything about Phillip Rivers, like his attitude, his energy. It's impossible not to like that guy. And shout out to him as well. He just extended his entire family's NFL health care for 5 additional years, all 100 kids. So Phillip Rivers always thinking ahead. Well done.
That's right. That's why we appreciate Phillip Rivers. People are going all conspiracy theory on that one. Like, whoa, really? I don't. It seems like just a coincidence, but it's a very good coincidence, I suppose, for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, and look, Rivers ain't hurting for money. He'll be fine. But yeah,
okay.
It's a nice benefit to have. Yeah,
it'll be okay. Elsewhere, I mean, you look across the board this week. I mean, we talked about the Panthers and Bucks matchup, which is a fascinating one. But how about this for a sort of marquee game on Sunday? Are we ready for one of the biggest regular season games of the year so far between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Denver Broncos? How exciting is this?
It's go time. And look, these two teams are playing great football. Obviously, we've seen Denver doing their thing all season long. And again, continuing off of last week. But don't sleep on Jacksonville, man. This team is tough. And they've always got a weird, quirky schedule. It feels like they never play at home. But, man, they are playing together. I'm with you. Like, this is going to be a great playoff preview game right here. And, buddy, Denver is handling its business left and right.
Just imagine if these two teams met in the AFC Championship game or something weird like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but you're right. They're both playing some really good football right now. All right, AB, enjoy the kind of extended week. We get Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday and Monday this week in the NFL.
Always a holiday, my friend. Thank you so much for everybody.
Alan Bell of Driving the Line. Make sure you check him out there. He's got the pods coming out every single day. Probably dipping the toe into a little bit of college basketball around this time of year as well. So always good stuff from AB. When we come back, we'll have the odd news. And stick around. We will open up in the noon hour, talk a little bit about what Dana Holgerson had to say today, react to that, and then plenty more of the topics surrounding our now forgotten son, Dylon Raiola. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, time for the odd news, but not with Oddson. With All Week Joey. We're,
is that my new nickname?
80% of the week Joey just doesn't quite have the ring to it, so we'll just say All Week Joey, and then
I'm here.
People could be surprised on Friday when you're not here.
I'm here. I'm in the building every day. So
you are.
I'm doing something.
But only some
for the
days.
good people of radio.
You have a live microphone in front of your face from on 1620 The Zone. Only some days.
Well, Friday I'll be on the airwaves. I'll be giving out the morning traffic. I'll be up real early in the morning. I'll be a little grumpy old man.
See,
but it's kind of my thing.
All Week Joey. It's closer to the truth than you would think. All right, what do we have today?
All right, the first one's out at the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. A family said more than 100 packages intended for a local hotel have been delivered to their home during the past 6 months.
Oh, wow.
A resident who wished to be identified only as Brittany said she believes guests at the Arlo Hotel about a mile away from their home have apparently been ordering packages intended to be delivered there, but mistakenly clicking her address on Amazon instead. She said her address appears before the hotel's address on Amazon's options list.
Ah, got you. So like when you put in it like corrects it to here's the address.
Yeah. But,
interesting.
They said we've received everything from cat food to vitamin supplements to even a chainsaw.
Have you ever gotten a package delivered? Because in order for this to happen, like people have to be ordering packages to the hotel. Have you ever gotten a package delivered at a hotel before?
No, I have not.
I don't think I've ever stayed at a hotel long enough for me to need a package delivered to me. Also, if I'm in a hotel for that long, from out of town for that long, and I need something, I'll just go to whatever store and buy it. Oh crap, I forgot my deodorant. I guess I'll go get deodorant.
It's not your home address.
I forgot my chainsaw. I guess I'll just go to the store and get my chainsaw.
Well, that's what you need a chainsaw for at the hotel.
Great question, Joey. Maybe that's the hotel ordering things for itself.
A good poll question. Do you order chainsaws at a hotel?
What would you need a chainsaw for at the hotel? Yeah. It's everything from cat food.
Yeah, cat food, vitamin supplements, and even a chainsaw.
Vitamin supplements, okay, right? Like that makes sense in a way. People need their vitamins.
The good news is the guests came to pick it up, but they did not ask any questions nor answer the door. But Brittany said there is a 1-letter difference between her address and the
hotel.
The hotel address.
Okay.
But there was a similar incident that happened in San Jose where a woman reported a similar issue. She said,
I remember that. I think we had that as an on-news story.
Yeah. Her home in July was flooded with hundreds of unwanted Amazon packages in the preceding year, with each one containing a folks leather car seat cover from the brand Etkin.
I do like receiving packages. Now I'm sure this has become a bit of a nuisance if we're talking about into the hundreds of packages, but I do like the feeling of receiving a package. Oh, the driver's getting out of the truck. Is he coming to my house? Is he going to the neighbor's house? What's he going to do?
It's the season of giving.
It is.
People forget.
Except for the packages aren't yours, and you don't actually get to use any of that stuff.
You don't get to keep it.
But I do like receiving the packages.
I like the mystery boxes. It's a wonderful mystery.
What did I order? I'll never remember. All right.
Second one's out in Cleveland, Ohio. There's a weasel-like fissure seen in the city for the first time since the 1800s. So Cleveland Metro Parks announced a fissure, an animal related to weasel and ferrets, has been caught on camera in the city wildlife area for the first time in over a century. So,
what? This animal is called a fissure?
Yes, it's announced a fissure, an animal related to weasels and ferrets.
Huh. I never heard of this animal.
I've not heard of it before. It's like it looks like a little otter or something, but Cleveland Metro Parks, a system of nature preserves across the area, posted wildlife camera footage to social media showing the fissure recorded on Metro Parks land. And I'm not going to pronounce the county.
Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga County.
Tommy boy. Thank you. Cuyahoga.
There you go. I got family from I got family from near the Sandusky area. I don't know why I can't pronounce that.
Cuyahoga.
But anyway, the Ohio Division of Wildlife said the footage marks the first confirmed Fisher sighting in the county since the species was extirpated from the area in the mid 1800s.
Whoa! How about that?
So this was a time.
What a triumphant return for the Fisher.
This was a time before you could take any pictures with your technology, your cameras, your phones.
Yeah, it's the first time this has actually been documented. This is great. Part of the
first photographic.
The mustelid family, a species of special interest listed by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, were thought to have been rooted out or destroyed from the area more than 200 years ago. Fishers can sometimes be mistaken for mink or river otters, which are in the same family. Look at this little cutie just hanging out in the metro parks,
minding its own business.
This is great. We love it when once thought extinct animals return.
They make a resurgence.
Thank you.
All right, the last one is an unusual lawsuit. So a woman and her golden retriever are suing the IRS to try and get pets classified as legal dependents.
Sure.
A change that would have some tax benefits for pet owners. So the canine Finnegan, Mary Reynolds, and her owner, attorney Amanda Reynolds, filed a lawsuit in the Eastern District of New York, arguing that the pooch relies entirely on Reynolds for food, shelter, medical care, training, transportation, and more.
Oh, it wouldn't be hard to make the case, that's for sure.
So Reynolds argued that Finnegan, an 8-year-old golden retriever, has no independent income, resides exclusively with her, and has annual expenses exceeding $5,000, all requirements for a legal human dependent under the IRS rules.
Now, that's up to you if you want to spend $5,000 to take care of your dog. I mean, I'm sure you could do it for cheaper.
But while the IRS defines pets as property, Reynolds says this does not reflect Finnegan's role in their household. And in quotes, for all intents and purposes, Finnegan is like my daughter and is definitely a dependent.
Yeah.
The case reads, noting that while the subject may seem unusual, it is not frivolous or meritless.
Interesting. So are we to believe the IRS is considering this? This would be a big change for a lot of people as far as their tax documents are concerned. It's a perfect story. It's a perfect story for me, right? Because it's another opportunity for me to talk about humans and their love for their dogs and
or cats,
taking it to the next step, taking it to wherever it might be. I had a thought the other day. What do you think about including? I agree with this, by the way. A lot of people include their dogs on the Christmas card. Are you put the dog on the Christmas card guy? Do you make Christmas cards, Joey?
No,
I'd like to see you make a Christmas card, by the way. You should send out a Christmas card.
just me.
I would love to receive a Joey Christmas card. Joey and his cat.
There is a. So when I was in high school, we had the senior invites,
of course.
So you remember the fake Bo Pelini with the cat, the sweater.
I do.
So I had my senior picture was me wearing a button-up sweater,
well done,
holding the cat, and then there's a little picture of the cat on the corner, like it is. It's a duplicate of the fake Bo Pelini.
You guys should make
I have to find it. I know I'll find it somewhere. I'll post it on my Twitter.
You should make so definitely. I absolutely want to see that. But I think the producers should all make a producer's Christmas card.
Just everybody wearing sweaters and just looking very joyful.
So we got Jimmy, we got Josh, we got Nick, we got Joey, we got Peterman. Throw Jake in there. Whoever wants to join, the part-timers / the producers. You guys all band together. You wear the weirdest thing you could possibly wear, and then send out a Christmas card to everybody, and then create great content for us to talk about on the radio. Look at what Joey is wearing. He looks insane. That could be fun.
Pretty.
Texter writes in, Finnegan, the golden retriever, is like your daughter, but she's not your daughter. She's a dog. Thank you, Texter. A great point made by the Texter. Joey, well done. Another Job well done today
Yeah,
on the
I
odd
will.
news.
I will find that picture. I know where to find it.
Yeah, I would love.
It'll,
love
it'll
to see
be it'll be
this.
there shortly. Just it'll take some time.
By the way, Plaque Cat writes in, Matt's probably sending out Christmas cards. Sounds like it's right up his alley. We did not do my family, my small family, did not do a Christmas card this year. And we are a Christmas card family. We did not do a Christmas card this year.
My family's not that type of people that just likes to post for pictures and send them out. I mean, I'll receive some from some folks, but we're not the type of people that will dress up for such an occasion.
How would you feel
for
about like getting
pictures.
a Christmas card, like an update, like on the 4th of July? Would you feel good about that? Would you like it? It wouldn't be Christmas themed or anything like that. It's just like, hey, here's an update from my family. Here's what we're doing.
What would the picture look like?
It would just be a normal family picture.
Just a beach picture.
Yeah, maybe it's just a warmer version of a Christmas picture.
I guess so.
Okay, all right, we'll consider that this year. See if we could just
depends on the
do something a little bit different.
Depends on the people.
Do something a little bit different, just to see if we could throw people off the scent a little bit. All right, that is the odd news. We'll recap some of the things that Dana Holgerson had to say when we return to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back. And however you'd like to get in on the action, you could do it on Underdog right now in Nebraska. This season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Using Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite team will win or if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Plus, with Underdog's quick payouts, you could get your profits in a snap. Download the app today and use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry, player picks, team picks, all on Underdog. Crypto powered by Underdog Predict. Trading derivatives involve risk and may not be appropriate for all. For more information, visit nadex.com/rules and underdogfantasy.com/rules. For Crypto.com predictions, the term pick refers to a product traded on CDNA. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing good terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, if you want to see the Christmas card that Joey was referencing, you can check it out right now at Happer Show. J-Tech Construction's own Twitter feed. Also,
it's on
just
my Twitter.
put up a couple. Yeah, it's been retweeted by Happer Show, but check out at Joey Warcola.
You could see the little resemblance to the fake Bo Pelini.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's not so subtle, Joey.
Is Matt Rule going to invite me to a potential? Hopefully, there's a spring game in that little spring carnival, and have me walk out of the tunnel with the cat.
Interesting.
Raise her up in the air.
What an idea!
I don't think she's going to enjoy it.
So Seth wrote in on the Eckerol Bank inbox, would you like to receive a Joey with his cat Christmas card? So we put up a poll. We put up a poll at Happer Show just a few moments ago. A couple of them, actually. Would you like to receive a Christmas card from Joey is one. And the other one is, does Matt McMaster look like he sends Christmas cards? Both conversations that we had over the last couple minutes.
He's going to send a Christmas card, and it's going to be a picture of him posing in front of Soldier Field, some Chicago related
definitely
deal,
or him as a child, or so, a weird like standing selfie in his living room.
I think we should use the 1620 The Zone memes as Christmas card ideas, like like that one time
you're talking about those photos that we took.
Yeah. More of the stuff we capture on the video stream, like you eating the corn dog, or Josh Otson.
That's actually really good.
Showing the belt on unsportsmanlike conduct.
We do have quite a tank of this at this point of just screen captured moments. We should probably just do that. If you're like subscribed to our email list or something like that, we'll blast out an email, a personalized email.
Thank you for listening.
For each one of you, and you each get a personalized random photos screen cap from the show, and it's like Connor eating a corn dog at a Storm Chasers game, and it says, you, and then it says Christmas morning or something like that, and it's just memed. All right, here's Dana Holgerson on replacing or just commenting about Dylan Raiola. He said he prefaced it at the start with, I don't really want to talk about it, very much. I don't want to go too far into it, that sort of thing. There's a lot of simple, by the way, in Dana Holgerson, especially when I do the impression. He said the starting quarterback transfers were, quote, the new norm in college football, and it's something that many teams are dealing with right now. Holgerson said that he was, quote, a great player, and there were times where the offense was, quote, heading in a really good direction. He added that there were other times where, quote, we weren't, end quote. He spoke with Raiola about his future for a couple of days before the reports came out yesterday, and then he was gone. He declined to provide further details on those conversations. So he did talk about it, and he did acknowledge it, for those of you who were wondering about that piece of it. Also, Dana Holgerson today on playing in the Las Vegas Bowl, quote, I've gotten lost in Vegas a few times, actually. Me, handshake meme, Dana Holgerson.
Me too.
Awesome. You've gotten lost in Vegas?
There's too many things going on over
there.
There
is. I'm glad you said
There's
that.
Just a lot of things.
You think you're right next to something, and all of a sudden, it takes you 45 minutes to get there.
I mean, I'm at one casino hotel, and then I'm trying to find the other. I was over at the Paris when I was down there back in August.
I'm telling you, man. I'm
kind of in the center of things.
I walk out the front door to the hotel that we were staying at for when we were there a couple weeks ago with the Jays, and I look and I say, there's the Mandalay Bay. There's where I need to be. It's right there. And then an hour later, and I'm sweaty, and I'm like, this took me forever to get here. But luckily, I'm a Vegas expert at this point, so I knew that was going to happen.
It was a good time for me to just roam around after the first night, because I had a good amount of old fashions, and I was not feeling the greatest. So I made an important task to go find the spare, which took quite a bit of a time.
Whoa. And what'd you do while you were in this? You were in the sphere under the influence of cocktails?
No, not in the sphere. We were just.
Oh, you just wanted to look at it.
I just want to look at it, see if there's a funny little picture.
What was on there?
It was just it was color purple, which I did not enjoy that.
It was just purple.
It was just purple at that time.
It didn't have the smiley face guy looking around.
No,
on there?
It did not. I think it was smiley face when I landed earlier that
It
day.
usually is. It's always whenever the plane is landing there, it's very, very visible from the approach there, and you can see the smiley face guy, and he's always looking at you. It's very weird how that works. He's always looking at you.
It's nice to see you landed in Vegas.
From Twitter, from Jason, who hasn't got lost in Vegas? Great question. I don't know. If you haven't,
a good poll question.
If you haven't been to Vegas, then you probably haven't been lost in Vegas. But if you have been to Vegas, you almost certainly have been lost in Vegas. John writes in, would you like to get lost in Vegas with Dana Holgerson? Yes. He would be a great person to be lost with, because who knows what we would run into. It could be literally anything.
It could be anything.
It could be so many different things. All right. Welcome back. Noon hour of the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. NFL reaction, overreaction coming up here in just a little while. What kind of quarterback should Nebraska go after in the portal? This is where I ask you the question of the day. So if you're watching along with us on YouTube or on Twitter or wherever it might be, you notice the question in the title of the show. Are you really a Teefie? Are you really a Teefie? Happer, what does that mean? It's so thought-provoking. What a great headline for the show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Are you really a Teefie? All the Teefies came out of the woodwork when Dylan wasn't playing well this year, and they were mildly excited to see that Mr. Teef got his opportunity later on in the season when Dylon broke his leg. So I guess right now is when we find out if the Teefies were actually real, or if the Teefies were just a group of people that really just didn't want Dylan to play anymore and then just were over the Dylan Raiola experience. Were you a Teefie or were you just anti-Dylan? If I'm to think back, and hopefully this gives you guys this emboldens you to take a little bit of stock of yourself and your own thoughts. If I'm to describe my feelings on the whole Teefie, Dylan, enter portal quarterback, whatever it might be situation, I would describe my feelings pretty much exactly how I just laid it out. I became a Teefie when I decided that Dylan wasn't doing it for me anymore. And it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly when that time was. So somebody, late in the year commented in and was like, Happer, you're sounding really like a Teefie right now. And I was like, you know what? I think I kind of am. I think I kind of am. And it was mostly because I was really just kind of over the Dylan situation. And then when he got hurt, his brother decommits and his uncle gets fired, and you're like, oh, okay, I can really see the writing on the wall. And then you go harder and harder into that category. Not totally unlike the situation that we saw yesterday, where people finally admitted to themselves that the whole Mahomes Raiola thing was really cringy and weird. And I enjoyed watching that experience play out in front of my eyes. So to update where we're at right now, Dylan's going to be in the portal. TJ Lateef is, in theory, still going to be here. And then Nebraska has a question that it has to ask itself. Does it want to get a quarterback that will come in and start for a couple of years and has some experience and cachet behind his name? Guy that you can really trust, put the keys in their hands right now and say, go, go, go. Or do you want TJ Lateef to actually get his opportunity? If you want TJ Lateef to be the starter next year, then I think that actually makes you a Teefie. You are a full-on Teefie. If you want it to just be a situation where Dylan's not here anymore, and Nebraska's going to go into the portal and find another guy at that position, then I would call myself I just want the team to be good at this point. And so that's sort of where I'm at if I'm to take stock of my feelings right now. I would like Nebraska to go into the transfer portal and find a quarterback and hopefully get a quarterback that you could put the keys of the offense in their hand next year and say, all right, go. There's no learning curve. You got experience playing, whether it's in the league or in the, in high major, basketball, power conference football, P5 football. I want to get that player next year. I do not. Now, there is a financial component that exists quite, significantly as well. Right? So it'll be interesting to see how Nebraska plays this. Do you, as Dana Holgerson said today, do you go out and get the best available and see what kind of bites you get back on that return? Do you go out and get the best available? Therefore, we're looking for a starter next year and we're going to bring that person in. Or are you going after the next rung of quarterbacks or two tiers down, whatever it might be, and saying, this person has similar experience to that of TJ Lateef. Come on in, compete for the job. We'll see what happens. What would you like to see happen? Because I think there's a bunch of different ways you approach it. One costs more money than the other. I think I saw a lot of people yesterday that were really sold on the idea of Nebraska just moneyballing this thing, of Nebraska not spending much money on a quarterback at all, rolling with what they have right now, and investing all of their available resources into defensive line and running back at this point, which I think the thing about right now is this is where you would really like to have that identity and something to recruit to specifically, because there's so many different ways that you could play it. I don't want them to get super bombarded and overwhelmed by the options of where they want to go. And we say, hey, look, the dominoes aren't going to fall, and we're really not going to know what's going to happen with the roster until you get that quarterback. While that's true, I also don't want the quarterback to dictate Taylor, let's get an offensive identity in place. I totally agree. And I think, oh, wow, I'm on the big screen. Everybody. Frankly, I'd be surprised if they didn't. I'd be surprised if it didn't make more sense as far as here's a Matt Rule quarterback, here's a Dana Holgerson quarterback. It makes it all the more fascinating and mildly confusing of what they just went through with Dylan Raiola. But I totally agree. Make it make sense and do the same thing. Mildly tweaked to each of these people's skill sets, over a long period of time here. But completely agree, Mustache Adam. Here's Kyle. He writes in on Twitter. A lot of people talking about Dylan Raiola, use for the Dylan Raiola money for the offensive line and defensive line. But just because Dylan Raiola had $3 million allocated to him doesn't mean the money is just available for something else. Some boosters most likely allocated that to DR and nothing else. Yeah, I've seen people talk about that quite a lot over the last couple days as well. Totally agree. It's not as simple as like, here's the $3.5 million or here's the $3 million, and now Nebraska could just use it to go to something else. And I don't think all of his NIL money was coming from Nebraska anyway. And so I don't know how much Nebraska was really on the books for all of that $3 million in the first place. So yeah, but it does to thread the needle in between that, like it does open up other opportunities for more money and to get more people sort of involved in that context as well. Now we can go back to the phones. We're slowly getting back up and working here on the Connor Happer Show. Here is Rick. Hi, Rick. Thanks for calling back.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. Nice sunny day here. You asked who would be a good replacement at quarterback for Nebraska. I hate to pay any credence to Michigan, but after watching McCarthy play against Dallas the other day, if he had a younger brother, that'd be somebody to go after. Another player, the lady that played for Texas A&M, she had a brother that played quarterback. I think it was Ledecky.
Close.
A lot of P&V in that athlete. But anyway, getting back to the Rule thing, I think the biggest question about the Raiola deal this year was the inability of the head coach to perhaps put Dylan Raiola on the bench when things didn't go well in the Minnesota game. And, you can talk about that till the cows come home. But you just kind of wonder who dictates in the athletic department from the boosters where the big money's going to go. And I think that's a good question. Of course, you'd have to be you'd have to be the fly on the wall to hear how that goes. But anyway, one thing I've seen interesting in the Husker loss to A&M was the amount of class that coach from A&M, I believe his name was Morrison, showed even at the end when things were starting to maybe look a little more going Nebraska's way. He's over there smiling and grinning, and maybe he had a little schnapps in him, I don't know. But he sure portrayed the way a coach should act, whether they're winning or losing. Thanks for taking my call, and enjoy the day, guys.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Yeah, we always get those calls during the season. I'll go back to one of the points you made there. We always got those calls during the season of like, hey, why can't you bench him? Why can't you bench him? Why can't you just bench him? I think there's two different things going on, and people like to apply some of the stuff that is going on that is real to really like old school logic and ways of thinking. Not that stuff can't work anymore or whatever it might be, but I heard people talking about it like, hey, Raiola's, the Raiolas like they can't be running the show and all these different things. And I do think there's a great point to be made there. I would echo that. This cannot be a Dylan Raiola. This could not be a Raiola, focused only type of program. Agreed, 100%. But if Nebraska would have felt that the best thing to do for their team during the time, during the Minnesota game or whatever, that he needed to be put on the bench, then they would have done it. I still believe that. And this is not like I don't think that was just Matt Rule in the moment, feeling like, oh, if he if he lost, if he benched Dylan, then he was going to lose Dylan or anything like that. I really don't think that. You guys could think that, and now you have some ammo in your back pocket because he's gone, and probably there's going to be some things said about a variety of different things that happened during his time here, or what his sort of role was in the program, whatever. But I just was never at that point with him. I was never at the point of benching him. I was at the point of, I don't know if you could bring it. I don't necessarily need to see this for another year. Two different things, but I wasn't like at a, hey, right now, he is not the best option for them to win football games. He was the best option for them to win football games. He was. He was a better option than TJ Lateef to win football games in those moments. That's the reason why he was playing, and that's the reason why he was starting. It wasn't because of any of family stuff or, politics or anything like that. I don't believe that. Not to say that wasn't happening, not to say that wasn't going on, but I just think he was the best option for them at the time, and that's why he kept playing. I hopefully that's as simple as I could put it. So Jimmy writes in, he said, Connor, you really don't think politics are, at play or are a part of sports? Well, no, I think I just addressed that. Absolutely is. No doubt about it is. I'm once again not saying that some of that stuff was not going on, but I don't think that's why they didn't bench him. That's all. I just wouldn't go that far. All right, so what's our status here, Joey? Can we take a break, or Chris? Can we take a break?
Keep talking for about a minute.
We could.
Keep talking for a minute.
Or if you want, we could go right into NFL reaction overreaction, since we got the stuff we need for that.
We could do that. We could get to some more reaction from you all while we bide some time. So we could do that. Let's see. Oh, John writes in from the text line. Is Rick Random Mike's cousin? Great question. Not sure about the family lineage there. Not exactly sure. And then a bunch of comments from the. No, I mean, like I said, there was a bunch of comments that were coming in. It's like, wow, you really don't think that was a thing? People love to do the, hey, we need to bench this guy because he wasn't the best. He needs to learn a lesson, and he needs to sit on the bench because he needs to see it from a different perspective and all that stuff. I've never necessarily felt that way about the position, and I do also think you have to think about what you're doing when you do that as well. Not from the sense of like, oh, we're gonna lose this guy if we put him on the bench. No, it's just you are signifying that you're kind of going in a different direction, and I don't believe that's what Nebraska needed to do at that given time. And so I'll defend that decision. In fact, I didn't really think about that as much of a decision at the time. Joey, what's our update here? What did Chris just whisper sweet nothings in your ear?
He's gonna text me once he gets something rolling to open up next gen.
Okay. All right.
It's just there's no Wi-Fi on the next gen, and that's kind of the reason.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the reason.
Well, we do
got a little malfunction. We're getting that fixed.
Excellent.
I mean, at least we got Chris Prude on here to tackle on these important missions.
That is a great point. But my voice will get tired, and I need to take a drink of water.
Well,
sometimes.
We could do NFL reaction overreaction if you want at the moment.
Okay.
I could do I could do a little bit of talking while you take your little sippy sip.
The breaks are important for me. But anyway,
they are important. We're doing the morning show vibes now.
Let's do that then as we head over to NFL reaction.
Give me one
overreaction. By the way, feel free to call or text the show if you have anything on this 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number and send us a tweet as we go on throughout the show. Oh, would you look at that? We just need the breaks or the spots to load back in, which is happening literally as we speak.
Yeah, just once this break loads up, we'll
awesome.
We'll do the break. We'll do the break and then
we'll
get
do
back.
The break.
give us a few little seconds.
Steady hands are at the wheel, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Connor Happer Show. John writes in, this is great advice. I wonder if Chris is listening to this. I am of tech. Tell Chris to unplug it and plug it back in. What do you think about that advice?
I love it.
Unplug it and plug it back in. It looks like we have reached that point as of right
Okay.
now. So let's take a quick timeout. We'll step aside. I'll take my little sippy sip, as Joey says, and we'll be back with NFL Reaction Overreaction coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, we are back and up and running here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Thanks for sticking with us.
Everything's fixed.
Everything is fixed. We're back, and guess what? It'll never break again. Mark my words, Joey. It will never break again.
I'm just worried.
If it does, I'll give you tickets to New Year's Smash.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
There we go.
You're kind of glitching on the video stream. Connor.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's broken again. I better give away tickets to AEW New Year's Smash. Maybe we'll do that here coming up.
Well, let me get myself set up.
In just we'll wait until after the break at least. But stay tuned here for just a few more minutes and listen for that cue to call. All right. We have a little bit more NFL talk on this Tuesday. This first writer prompt, as the writers have been hard at work upstairs, it's less of a take, it's more of a question, and it seems to be, if I'm looking at it right now, it seems to be a question directed at our young intrepid producer for today, Joey Colbert. Joey, what does that say?
Well, the question is, who will win the war of attrition of the NFC North? We all know the answer to that, Connor.
We do?
We do.
Why do we know that?
Because it's the Green Bay Packers. They're 4-0.
I thought you were going to say it's the Bears.
No.
Okay.
No. They're going to feel good about Micah Parsons' injury. They're going to say, oh, this is going to be so easy. But just remember, Caleb Williams threw the game-ending interception to a corner that I think is not starter material because he's not great in man-to-man coverage or even in zone. He lets all those Bronco receivers beat him up one by one.
So you think it's the Packers, just to be clear?
It's the Packers.
I
believe in them. Their season's not over.
I think the note
definitely not the Lions.
That the writers wanted to make clear here, if I'm to get inside the writer's brain a little bit, war of attrition. Okay, let's think about this a little bit. In the NFC North, the Kings of the North, the Packers, whether you think they're going to win the division or whatever, do whatever in the playoffs, it doesn't really matter. It is, in my opinion, it is an indisputable fact that they are running on fumes a little bit right now. They have their star player, their star acquisition of the offseason who won't play the remainder of the season. Their other emerging star player has been out for several weeks and won't play the remainder of the season.
Their starting defensive tackle, who's been on a roll, is out for the rest of the season.
And on top of that, we weren't sure about their sort of like sustainability and consistency in the first place. I would call the Packers running on fumes right now. I would certainly say so for the Detroit Lions, although it maybe has looked a little bit better as of late, but it's kind of just been up and down a little bit for them all season long. Not sure I exactly trust them at the moment. And then there is the Bears, who seem the healthiest and possibly most confident and most sure about themselves, potentially, of the group, but people believe in them less as a team because they are the Bears. And I don't disagree with that sentiment. Now, we're going to have a winner of this division end up being probably 12-5 in that, probably 12-5, potentially 13-4,
or whoever, or the team that has that lone tie against the Dallas Cowboys.
That is true. It could be that team as well.
Don't forget.
But we're going to talk about we're talking about a 12 or 13 game winner in this division, which it's really hard to do. And we're saying war of attrition, and I say these teams are really beating each other up. I don't know. It doesn't feel all that conducive for any one of these teams to go deep into the postseason at this moment. And that's why the writers brought up what they did.
Good question, though. Good
question. Job, writers. Great job. What's next?
It's not going to happen, but would you like to see Phillip Rivers start a playoff game just because it would be fun and kind of a good story?
Nope, not at all. Actually,
sorry, Peter.
I liked watching Phillip Rivers play. By the way, they're at like a 10% chance to get to the playoffs at this point. They're
not a good look.
No,
for them.
They're not going. They blew it. They were, they were the talk of the league for the first 10 or so weeks of the season, and it just completely fallen off a cliff. Who could have ever predicted this was going to happen? But they lost Daniel Jones, and that's unfortunate as far as that's concerned. But I liked watching Phillip Rivers play for fun this week. It was funny to watch a 44-year-old out of shape dad, grandfather, even throw around the football in an NFL game for a little while. Philip Rivers has always looked funky when he's throwing the football, and now even more so 5 years removed from the actual part of his NFL career. But do I want to see him in a playoff game? God, no. People keep saying this, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want to see this at all. I want good teams to be in the playoff. And the Colts with Philip Rivers are not a good team.
No.
And so even though they, battled with Seattle this past weekend, but count me out for that. I'm not here for good stories anymore. No way.
Well, speaking of random quarterbacks just making an appearance, which random backup would you like to see be the Chiefs QB for the first half of next year?
This is a fun question.
44-year-old Philip Rivers, if the Colts don't work out?
This is a fun question. Who would be your nominee because what they'll have to do, they can't do I don't think they could do like Gardner Minshew. I don't think they could do the Blaine Gabbert of his time or the Chase Daniel of his time or the Brian Hoyer of his time or the Chad Henne of his time.
Okay.
They can't do the generic backup. I don't think, because the Chiefs will have high expectations for themselves next year, and they'll want to be in a position where they're in position when Mahomes does come back, should he come back at some point next season. At least I think, if that's the plan right now. If not, you could just do a throwaway year and say, all right, never mind. You go ahead, modern day equivalent of Chad Henne, whoever that might be. Go out there, Jacoby Brisket, whatever. Go out there and play. But I think they'll want to aim a little bit higher. You'll want to get an above replacement backup, just in case the Chiefs are able to put it together and just in case Mahomes can return for the playoffs and all that stuff. So there's some options of some guys who have fallen off out of favor this year with the public eye as far as starters are concerned. We've talked about this person on NFL Reaction Overreaction before. What does Kyler Murray's future look like? That could be a fun and interesting,
very interesting
tryout period for Kyler Murray.
Everything out of Arizona is interesting.
It's not a good look for him.
No,
but he will look for a reclamation of his career. What better position to do it in than 10 games with the Kansas City Chiefs and that apparatus around you, throwing around, making plays and stuff like that. I'm sure that the first guy that came to my head was definitely Kyler Murray in this situation. Plaquette says Joe Milton. Plaquette says Chiefs going to snag Haynes King. I don't think they're in the draft. Are they going to be in the draft market for a quarterback?
I saw someone selected. I think it was a Chiefs fan or some random person selecting Diego Pavia in the second round.
That would be funny.
Which would be hilarious.
That would be funny. They should get Dylan Raiola to go pro a year early. They could just have Dylan Raiola for the first couple
That's
weeks.
true. That's true.
Maybe Dylan Raiola will go to the Chiefs in the transfer portal.
Maybe wait another year.
Mbaz says Jacoby Brissett to the Chiefs, or as I call him, Jacoby Brisket. Just some interesting things to think about this offseason, what the Chiefs will end up doing next year.
Or just bring back Carson Wentz. He used to be a backup for the Chiefs.
John writes in Adrian Martinez for the 2026 Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Do Adrian Martinez. Fascinating.
Huh. Okay, back to the AFC South. The Jaguars are a real playoff threat. Are they?
The Jaguars are a real playoff threat. I think this is an appropriate reaction. They have been playing some excellent football lately, and they have won 5 in a row now.
Yeah, they're a 10-win team.
They haven't necessarily beaten the cream of the crop in that period of time.
They have an opportunity to do so on Sunday.
They sure do.
That's a weird 305 game.
And I would not count them out of that situation. I mean, they have beaten up on bad competition this year, and they got smoked by the Rams. That's kind of like the smoking gun in their season this year. But they beat up bad on the Chargers this season. They beat the Chiefs earlier in the year when they were obviously, still in
Monday Night Football,
still heavily in contention. And they've split so far with the Texans. So it's a light schedule. It's a light slate, but Lawrence is starting to play well. The patented second half of the season, Trevor Lawrence is coming along. They have I mean, Etienne is running it very well,
Yep.
and they have some really good wide receivers, including Thomas. So, I mean, I can't count them out right now, especially with the dearth of teams in the AFC who actually have a heartbeat. No, I'm not counting them out. They're a real playoff threat. Could we be seeing an AFC Championship game preview on Sunday?
I'm hoping their fans will show up for that because every time I'm seeing a Jaguars home game, there's a lot of empty seats at that stadium down in Jacksonville.
They don't have any fans.
I know. They are such a weird franchise.
It was so funny when they played in the AFC Championship game that one year against the Patriots.
And they almost won.
And they should have won. Yeah,
They should have won that game.
And finally,
the Bills have the right playoff game winning formula.
All right. So this is a very tricky conversation.
I don't know how to feel about that.
This is a very tricky conversation with Buffalo. This has been the case for them for like 5 years in a row. All right. I look at them and I say, I don't think what they're doing is very sustainable. I can't see this. I can't see this having success in the playoffs. But then we juxtapose that with the idea that over and over and over again, we have seen the teams that just make plays and just have sort of this knack for winning against all odds find ways to do so in the postseason. And so their whole thing is it's a lot like, you saw what the Falcons did to the Bucs on Thursday night.
Yep.
It was like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run around a little bit and then wait till Bijan Robinson gets open, and then he's going to make like 4 dudes miss, and then we'll go. It's basically the same thing with Josh Allen. Let's drop Josh Allen back 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's going to run around a little bit. Khalil Shakir is going to be down there. A bunch of no-name wide receivers are just going to be chilling out. And Josh Allen will pull something out of his butt, and we will score enough touchdowns consistently to be able to make it work.
It kind of reminds me of that scene on Flash Gordon, just that football fight. He's just tossing the ball around, just barreling through the
Flash Gordon, quarterback, New York Jets.
just running around the room.
That's
picking up-
So Josh Allen is Flash Gordon.
He's Flash Gordon.
Interesting. I like it.
I'll post the video.
This is a tough, like, I just can't say no to this because they have Josh Allen. And so when you think about it, the quarterback is such a big piece. It's such a big part of the reason why anytime anybody brings up Sam Darnold and the Seahawks to me, this as we head toward the postseason, I'm like, yeah, I really like them. I really like their team, but I can't trust Sam Darnold to win any playoff games.
Yeah.
But I can trust Josh Allen to win playoff games. And I definitely could trust Josh Allen to win playoff games when Patrick Mahomes is out of the picture, which he is. So I don't know. This is
the best opportunity for them.
It feels like the runway is there.
Make that run. And if they don't get to the Super Bowl, then there's gonna be a lot of questions.
It feels like the opportunity is absolutely there.
It's like, here you go. Here's the empty street. Here's
Take
the
it.
keys.
AFC's wide open. Mahomes is gone. Go ahead. You better win it now.
It's a free ride at this moment.
Brian writes in, Kansas City should sign Adrian Martinez. Interesting. A couple people said they should sign Adrian Martinez. Someone else had a good text from before. Brian on the text line said Kirk Cousins to Kansas City.
Interesting. I don't even
Kirko
know.
Chains.
I think he's better for the Falcons right now than Penix.
He could be.
I see the Falcons offense flow better with him at the helm. I mean, experience is a key factor, but it's
Penix
already
is a little up and down.
Yeah, he's been up and down. After that week 2 game for the Falcons, I thought they were going to have a good shot to win the NFC South, but then
they were the hot team coming into the year.
Yeah,
People liked them.
They lost a close game to the Buccaneers in week 1, game-ending field goal, and then they dominated Minnesota, and just things did not look good from there.
All right, that is NFL reaction
enjoy
reaction. What a segment. We love talking NFL on the show. Thank you, Riders. Still plenty to come. I want to check in on a take from Joel Klatt coming up during this show today. I still want to talk a little bit about Creighton basketball, so we'll find some time for them as well. We'll be back after this with more on the Counter Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. take you to the Takeosphere. This is where Joel Klatt lives, especially in the offseason when he's not reminding Gus Johnson what he's seeing at any given moment. Joey, are we prepared to play a video here on this?
Yep, I got it ready.
On this fine stream.
Go
Excellent. Ahead. Wonderful. This is Joel Klatt. He was on a podcast or a radio show or whatever this was. I'm gonna let him talk. All right, and we're gonna react to it afterwards. Here's Joel Klatt making an appearance, and I believe the question was in the general vicinity of, what do you think the college? It was about football. It was about a college football playoff take and what the playoff should look like, and all those different things. Here's Klatt yesterday.
How important is it for Tulane or James Madison to be competitive this weekend? Is it sort of the future of an auto bid for the G5 at stake for them to look the part this weekend?
I don't think that it matters. It would help in the sentiment, the public sentiment, but these things are going to be, it will be determined by finances and litigation. And the reason the group of five is included in this playoff is to avoid antitrust litigation. That's it, guys. Like, we're not looking for a Cinderella. Nobody cares in football about James Madison or the equivalent of George Mason going. Didn't George Mason go to the Final Four or something like that? Nobody cares in football about that. We don't want Cinderellas. We want the best teams playing each other at the end. In fact, hot take. I mean, like the hottest of all takes that I've ever had in my entire life. The NCAA basketball tournament is a joke. It's the dumbest tournament and the least fair tournament in all of sports. We go and we put teams at odd times on neutral sites in a one-game affair. Like, that doesn't crown a true champion. We're not doing anything that tells us who's the best team over the course of the entire season. Like, if anything, the NCAA basketball tournament should act exactly like the old World Cup, which we should have groups. They should all get guaranteed 3 games, and they should be played at the higher seeds arena so that those seeds are rewarded for a quality game. And that way we don't just get to see, Kentucky one and done against George Mason or something like that. Well, that's stupid. That's stupid. Again, hottest of all takes, but that would make the NCAA basketball tournament far better. Neutral site, one and dones. What are we doing?
Yeah, you know who loves that, though, is CBS.
Okay, we're going to cut him off. There was more.
Oh, boy.
There was more. So I know, we let him play out there because the quote that you have almost certainly heard today is the NCAA tournament sucks. It is quite salacious.
That is not a popular take.
It's quite salacious. So there's this great meme that goes around, especially around this time of year. It's perfect. It was a headline from like an SB Nation site or something like that, and it said, "Football men can't stop having bad takes about basketball, or can't stop saying stupid things about basketball," or something like that. And I feel like it applies perfectly to this exact situation. Joel Klatt, this is what he does. Like, before Joel Klatt became the primary, color analyst for the biggest, network in television or in the Big Ten or whatever, before he became the Big Ten's color guy, he was a guy that made a lot of weird comparisons and references, kind of like this one. It would be a tradition every year when we would bump into Klatt at media days, and he would say, one time he'd said that Mike Riley, some coaches are like a pixie stick and some coaches are like a bonfire. Mike Riley's like a bonfire. He would make a lot of old war references and stuff like that. So this is not very far out of his realm of talking about stuff that is a historical reference point to something else. But he shouldn't have gone down this road. I think I understand what he was trying to say. I think I was understanding what he was trying to say, which I think the main point was like, hey, in football we don't do that stuff. We like when the best teams win. At the same time, we every single year, it feels like in college basketball in the NCAA tournament, we end up with like top 3 seeds in the Final Four anyway. In fact, last year, I'm pretty sure we had all 1 seeds in the Final Four. Hilarious, right? The fundamental difference between has been and continue and should continue to be that everything in college basketball is geared toward its postseason. Everything in college basketball is geared toward its postseason. We still have a bracket that we haven't talked about on this show. The bracket doesn't come out for 4 months. All right. We're talking about the tournament or what teams will have to do as it pertains to the tournament 4 months prior to the tournament even being announced. The whole season is geared toward the tournament. In college football, it's not. It shouldn't been. It shouldn't be. It never has been. And I feel we are dangerously close to moving closer and closer to a tournament-only mindset in college football. And I agree with them in the sense that we shouldn't be. It absolutely should not be that way. Also, there is the nose up in the air kind of pretentiousness of not caring at all about the little guy. Of him saying the only reason that James Madison is in this playoff is to avoid getting sued in courts by the group of five conferences, which is a little, frankly, disrespectful and mean. I believe that they earned a spot in the college football playoff.
They played very well this season.
And the closer and closer that, the further and further we go along of talking heads like him continuing to, prop up Tony Petitti's plan of getting auto bids for the Big Ten Conference, regardless of, we're just going to send whoever we want to the playoff at this point. And meanwhile, you, tiny group of 5 league over there, you get nobody. Group of 5s are as big of a part of college football as anybody else as well. They exist for a reason. Did we not like when Michigan lost to Appalachian State? That was an FCS team, by the way, or division,
back in
1
2007.
AA at that point, right? Did we not appreciate when that happened? Did we not like when that happened? Or was Joe Klatt sitting on his couch sad because Michigan lost? I can't believe they lost. No, nobody thought that. Everyone thought that was funny. Everyone thought that was great, except for Michigan fans, who we don't care about their feelings. So a lot of problems from a lot of different directions in this specific
imagine
case.
throwing Boise State into that conversation if they had the playoff back in the 2000s under Chris Peterson, the way they played Oklahoma, the way they hung around in the top 10 for so long.
I know. And yet
That's
it's like,
taking
no, I don't want to reward those teams at all.
Yeah.
Those teams don't.
There's teams that actually beat those power schools and earn themselves a way into postseason competition.
Let's take a phone call here. Here's Jason on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Hey, Jason.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Joel Klatt. It's been about a couple years now. I listen to his podcast, and he's a fence sitter. He likes to move the goalposts to accommodate his argument. Last year, he made a big deal about SMU should be in the playoffs and that they earned the right to be there over Alabama. And SMU got smashed, and everybody knows Alabama would have beat SMU. But he's using that argument this year to say the exact opposite. Now he's saying that the best teams should be in no matter what.
Right.
The top 12. I agree with that because football is a different sport than basketball, where when we're talking upsets. Because if you don't have a offensive or defensive line, pretty much you're going to get blown off the field. And it's going to happen to these two schools, Tulane and JMU. And if you think about it, I'd like to see just the top 12, because then Notre Dame and BYU would be in and everybody would be happy right now.
Yeah.
But,
keep going, Jason. Go ahead.
But my point is he goes back and forth on his takes, and I call him out. I've hit him up on his podcast, and I'm like, you're a fence sitter, and you said this last year, and everything else. But he just does it for the clicks, I think. But as far as the NCAA basketball tournament goes, That's a great setup. I think he's just giving us his opinion on that, which we didn't really ask for. But as far as football goes, I would like to see the top 12 teams play. And he is right. They will sue because there's money involved, and if you just completely shut out the smaller schools and don't give them a chance to get that money, they're gonna probably take everybody to court. Notre Dame, like I said earlier when I called in, I think last week, Notre Dame had a pretty good formula to make the playoffs, but this year it didn't work, and they just took their ball and went home basically, because they basically showed us that they're all about the playoffs and nothing else, and you're not going to make any money off their image and likeness without their permission. So it's a mess. But like I said, real quickly, the top 12 teams that would be great for the game, and then everybody would be happy, and the smaller schools, they're just going to have to figure it out.
Okay, Jason, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Sorry, I had to kind of end it there. So first, a couple different things there. On Klatt, I think, is saying what he's saying to echo the thoughts of basically his boss, who is Tony Petitti, who, wants to live in this weird college football utopia where the Big Ten has every say over, everything, and gets the most teams into the playoffs simply because they bought their spots. I hate that. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. And I hate the fact that people like Joe Klatt and who have power in the sport and who have microphones in front of their face will help proffer this theory over and over and over again. The second thing is the best 12 teams in the play. Like, let's say this. Every single year, we use somebody getting blown out in the playoffs as an excuse to not let that team in the playoffs the next year. And I just don't think the results should matter. I just don't think, the fact that you get blown out in the playoff should not prevent you from getting into the playoffs. You have a goal when you start at the beginning of the season. And it's already the deck is already stacked against the G5 teams. The deck is already stacked against Tulane. The deck, because there's only one spot in theory for all of them. Now it's the highest 5 ranked conference champion. If you get a situation like the ACC is in this year, then you get 2, and that's what ended up happening. But yeah, what's going to happen next week or in 2 weeks or whatever, whenever the games are in 2 weeks, those teams are going to get rolled. James Madison is going to get smoked by Oregon, and Tulane is going to get smoked by Ole Miss, whatever. And then everybody will say, I can't believe we let these idiot teams into the college football playoff. Why would we ever do this? And I will say, it shouldn't matter. Those teams having the opportunity to win a national championship is basically winning the national championship for them. And I support that. I like the fact that we're all under one umbrella. I like the fact that they have the ability to compete for a college football playoff. I like the fact that they get a game, a high profile game, and those schools get a big influx of money from whatever television, from ESPN and from the playoff, whatever television network that broadcasts the game. They get these schools notoriety and all that stuff. It ain't about winning. I don't need to see the teams that have only have a chance to win a national championship based off of your own perception of what happens, which is basically just based off of recruiting rankings and how much money you spend. I think that's stupid, and I don't think that's a way to operate a sport. And so I love the fact that they're there. I love the fact that they're there, and I don't think the fact that they're going to get blown out in 2 weeks should change that at all. That's my hot take of the day. As Mike says, I would rather watch a 12-1 James Madison play than a 9-3 SEC team. I agree completely. And the only reason that 9-3 SEC team is going to get into the playoff is because some SEC honk out there said that they played a really hard schedule and just picked it out of his brain that they should be there.
Got to go back to the schedule.
James Madison earned it. Let him play, man.
Got to make this similar to the NCAA tournament.
Jason writes in, I swear there's brain rot in college football. Making the playoffs is a goal all by itself. Winning it is a separate goal. Agreed completely. All right, we'll be back. Still plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. right, a couple comments from you all. First of all, thanks to Flaky Jake for writing in. He says this. 2 weeks. The games are in 4 days. Oklahoma and Alabama is Friday night.
Oh, my goodness.
Dear God. Oh, my God. Is this true? Sorry, I was too 4-team college football playoff build, and I remember when the semifinals used to be on New Year's Eve. And
That's 2 weeks away.
What happened? You know, we used to have this whole month of we don't get to do anything. Entire month. We sit there and we wait for the bowl games. We watch college basketball and we wrap our little presents and we eat our little cookies and we do everything else.
Our little Christmas cards,
and then,
Christmas caroling.
And we come back from break and then football restarts again. And then it's really go time. It's like we had a fall break of sorts. We love a fall break. I loved fall break. Fall break was just a random break in the middle of the semester. This is like a random break in the middle of the year. I'm not prepared for football to start again, for college football to start again. I'm not ready for it.
We weren't prepared for the short bowl game turnaround with the first one starting on Army-Navy Day, and then a little preview for what to watch for tonight.
Oh, really? What do we got?
We got a bowl game tonight.
Oh my God, there's a bowl game tonight?
I'll tell you more later.
I can't wait to hear which bowl game is tonight. I wish I still cared about bowls.
I think it's a game that Joel Klatt will tune in.
Oh, really?
I think he will.
Is there a Big Ten team in it?
No.
Okay. You probably won't. And then we get this. This is good. So, Mike said before, he said, I would rather watch 12-1 James Madison play than a 9-3 SEC team. And then Matt followed up on YouTube. He said, you'd rather watch James Madison at Oregon over Texas and Notre Dame, Texas/Notre Dame, either one of those teams at Oregon. He says, I'm not anti G5, but come on. But once again, this is the playoff. This is the postseason. This isn't a random non-conference game in September. Of course, I'd rather watch Texas play Oregon in September. Of course I would. I'd rather watch Texas and Oregon play in December.
But Texas didn't put themselves in good position.
Texas didn't
They played
earn it.
mediocre on the road. They needed overtime for 2 5-7 teams. They lost to a 4-win Florida team.
Thank you.
They played mediocre on the road. That's why they are not in, and they are in Orlando in the Citrus Bowl against Michigan.
You got it.
Sorry.
I didn't even know that they were in that, to be honest with you. So, this is not people always want to do this with the bowl games and with the college football playoff. Is like, you're telling me you wouldn't watch Texas and Oregon in the college football playoff on whatever night, on a Saturday afternoon or on a Friday night? Like, of course I would. You're not proving any point right now. No. But I'm watching James Madison in Oregon too, and I don't care how long it lasts. We have to stop. We have to stop with this nonsense of playing the results and trying to manipulate the future, like how you actually get to make the playoff, the qualifiers that get you to the playoff, just to manipulate the results of good football games.
It's not about the
That is the stupidest thing that you could possibly do. We have had bad NFL playoff games for years. For years. There's always some bad NFL playoff games. But guess what we don't do every year? We don't change the damn playoff to make sure we don't get the right teams or the wrong teams in the playoff anymore. Because you know at the start of the year what you have to do. It's harder, admittedly, for G5 teams to be able to do this. They have to have really, really special teams and really, really special runs. It's easier for a Big Ten team to make the playoff. It's easier for an SEC team to make the playoff in the sense that they can lose 2 games, maybe as many as 3, and get in to the college football playoff. Hell, it turns out you could get blown out in the conference championship game and have their 3rd loss and still make the playoff.
You don't even drop a spot.
But so it's defined. This is the playoff. This isn't a non-conference game in September. This isn't this. I don't want this to be. It's the TV-ification of everything, right?
Yep.
Like, this is not. It shouldn't be. It should not be manipulated or changed or adapted for your enjoyment. This is not for you, right? I like the people who are in charge at college football, at big college football, the SEC, the Big Ten, they're viewing it like it's for you. They're viewing it like they're in control and they want to watch the best games. And who wouldn't want to watch that? Who wouldn't want to watch that? If your response to making a playoff format is who wouldn't want to watch that, you need to leave the room. You need to leave the conversation. That should not be an applicable sentence in the committee room or in any sort of future discussions about what the college football playoff should look like. And I know it's all for money. I get it. But that should not define, that should not make the rules or help make the rules for what the sports playoff is. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. If I wanted to make a Super Bowl that the most people would watch right now, I could do that. I could put it together. We would make it the Cowboys and somebody. But guess what? The Cowboys don't get to make the playoffs because they're not good enough. And the Chiefs don't get to make the playoffs because they're not good enough this year, even though more people would watch it. And I'm sorry, the NFL on Christmas Day is not going to be as watched this year because Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be involved and because the Cowboys are going to be eliminated from the playoffs.
Half of the teams playing that day are already
and the Commanders have been eliminated and all that different stuff. And guess what? You just have to eat it. You can't bring those people back from the dead. You can't change the schedule on that given day. You just have to eat it.
Just got to deal with it.
I didn't even know I really had that rant in me, but that is
it's
nonsense.
a very passionate discussion about the sport we love.
Who wouldn't want to watch that? Who wouldn't want to watch that? Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Just remember, it's not about
Are
the
you
two
kidding me?
conferences.
Who wouldn't
it's
want to
about
watch
everybody involved.
Who wouldn't want to watch that? Of course I'm going to watch it. It's not about whether I watch it or not. It's about getting the most deserved teams in the playoff. Yes. That's literally it. John writes in. He says, by the way, going back to the whole NCAA, I'm surprised it didn't turn into an NCAA tournament conversation, by the way. But anyway, John wrote in earlier, John, hater of basketball. He says, Klatt's right. The NCAA tournament does suck. It's a bunch of basketball games. John hates basketball.
It's a bunch of fun basketball games.
I love basketball.
It's 11A to 11P college basketball.
Me and John fundamentally disagree.
For the first 2 days.
I love college basketball. Joel Klatt. Oh, it's a bunch of college basketball games that are on at random times and neutral sites. Yeah, it's awesome. We love Feast Week, folks, don't we? I do.
I enjoy it.
Let's see. John also says, I don't want to watch an SEC team that lost to Florida State and got boat raced in their conference championship game in the college football playoff. A great point. Who wouldn't want to watch that?
They didn't even look good for their last month of the regular season. They played a little above average against Auburn, LSU, and they played an FCS team in that second to last week.
Matt says this. Being a champ of a bad conference should not get you in automatically. Would say the same about Virginia if they won. Matt, I'm glad you said that because I use Virginia as an example. Like, it is a perfect example to bring up in this case. Of course, I don't want to see Virginia in the playoff. I don't want to see Virginia in the playoff. Of course, I don't want to see Virginia in the playoff. They would get smoked by whoever. But if they won, they should have been in. Of course.
They won their conference. They're in the top 20.
If they won, they should have been in. And I just have to sit there and I have to watch Virginia in the playoff because that's the card. Those are the cards that I was dealt. Of course, I didn't want to see Virginia in the playoff. I want to get them out of there. Get them out of there. But if they would have won that game, they would have earned it. And they should have been they would have been in the college football playoff. It's not even a conversation at that point. And then all this other stuff probably wouldn't have been a conversation either. So we have to separate. Do you want this from did they earn it? And we have a increasingly difficult time with that in college football. Increasingly difficult. The lines have never been more blurred because people like Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey they keep getting in your ear about this stuff, and you can't stop believing the crap they're selling you. You can't stop it. You have to stop. What you want to see, and the best teams are different from the most deserving teams and the teams that did what their schedule required of them to get into the College World Playoff. It's a different conversation. Stibbs says this. Stibbs says Stibbs was making some good comments before. Oh, now I have to go back to Stibbs' comments. Stibbs said, this is what college football should still be about. Once we limit resources and chances to only 40 to 50 schools, the spirit of college football is dead. Notre Dame should be in, but over Alabama, not James Madison and Tulane. Stibbs, you're right. That was a great take by Stibbs.
Good take, Stibbs.
Excellent job by Stibbs. Tommy writes in on the text line, I don't care about who wants what. I want the best teams to play the best team to determine who the best team is. G5 should be allowed, but not from auto bid. Everyone should have to be considered one of the best 12 teams to make the playoffs. If you don't think the top 12 teams can/should win the Natty, then there's too many teams. Eliminate auto bids entirely. Okay, Tommy, I believe that we can find some common ground. I believe that we can find some common ground here because there are too damn many teams in the playoff. Fact. I'm 100% with you in that regard. There are too damn many teams in the playoffs. And if we're arguing over 3 lost teams and 4 lost teams and 2 lost teams and 8-win Duke and James Madison and whatever to make the college football playoff, that should tell you there's too damn many teams. Okay, there is. I disagree with the auto bids thing. I think if you win your conference, you should automatically go to the college football playoff sight unseen. I think it's hard to win your conference. I think they should bring back divisions. And I think basically what I'm saying is I think we should go back to 4, or we should go to 8. But now let's fast forward to reality. In reality, that's never happening. We're never going to have less teams in the playoff than we do right now. We will only have either the same or more.
Eventually, it's going to be up to 24.
Yeah, we're going to have more.
Add way too much.
And this is going to get worse. And they're going to adjust and adjust and adjust and adjust. And there's going to be 100 Big Ten teams.
It's going to eventually eliminate conference championship week.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Just continue to ruin it further and further. But yeah, Tommy, I think we could find some common ground there. I don't think the top 12 teams automatically are deserving of playing for a national championship because the rankings are relatively subjective. And if you have a 3-loss team that's at number 12 in the country, I don't think they automatically deserve to be in just because someone they said they were 12 compared to some other guy saying they were 13 and the 13th team gets left out. You know, I don't think that's an appropriate way to determine if you have a chance to win a national championship. I do think it should be more subjective. I think it should be less objective at this point because we've gone too far as allowing the teams in. I appreciate the subjectivity, and I think generally the committee has done a nice job with it. I just think we're haggling over teams that frankly don't deserve chances at national championships because the soul of college football, as Stibbs was talking about before, is the fact that you have no margin for error. You have none. If you lose a game, you lose. If this is why super conferences suck, because it used to be more spread out and those teams never used to see each other. It all goes back to that, to be quite honest with you. I mean, we're going through just all my college football playoff problems at this moment, or my college football problems at this moment. Like if we revert to 2010 conferences and then revert the playoff to, we get the playoff to 8 with 5 Power 5 auto bids and then 3, like that's the perfect world for me. But now there's too many damn teams in all these conferences. And now they're all pining for, I want to have 4 automatic bids because this is this and this is this, and our teams are better. And it's hard to argue with them because you look at the rankings every year and there's the Big Ten and the SEC sitting at the top of the world. And so that is our original problem with nonstop compounding of problems since. Nonstop.
It's a big mess.
So thank you, Joel Klatt. I appreciate you letting me riff a little bit today on the college football playoff. Would you like to win AEW New Year's Smash tickets? We have more. We have, right, Joey?
Yeah, we do.
All right, good.
We got plenty.
You gave me a look like, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, we got plenty.
Wednesday, December 31st, that's New Year's Eve at Liberty First Credit Union Arena. 2 tickets to AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash. Call right now and be caller number 3 at 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, 402-951-1620. We're going to get you 2 tickets to AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash. New Year's Eve at Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Joey will hook you up, and we'll be back with the conclusion after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, nice job there for Aaron, right?
Yep.
It was Aaron, winner of the AW Dynamite New Year's Smash tickets. We'll have a couple more of those as we go on throughout the week. All right, a couple more minutes here. Can I interest anybody in a bracket?
I love brackets.
This is what started this whole conversation with brackets when Joel Klatt was talking about how stupid the NCAA tournament is.
Mixing teams together.
And now I'm going to talk. Now I've spent the last 30 minutes talking about how stupid Joel Klatt was in those. I don't believe that Joel Klatt is a stupid person, by the way. I believe he's a smart person. I believe he's misguided. But anyway, Joey brackets That's not you.
Not me.
That's
not me.
That's
It's-
not
it's-
you.
it's
Although
the
I
ESPN Joey.
although, would you like to be our bracketologist? I feel like that's actually a good job for you.
No. My job is Joey schedules.
Joey schedules. But is there anything you're cooking around like March? Are you cooking any schedules up around March?
Not really. I don't really get into that.
Okay.
That's a little too extreme to kind of start a bracket when it's still preseason or even at the end of the season.
Right.
Doing a bracket
so I
for the
don't think
next
there's
season.
anything for you to do. So Joey
not
Joey
really.
schedules is taking time off. Why don't you
why
don't you turn into our Joey brackets during that time?
I was doing Joey schedules for the Big Ten Conference for football.
I know. When are we going to get? I saw yours, but when are we going to get the actual official?
Last year it was around this time, but like I said yesterday, it's coming down to that Notre Dame USC game because that's uncertain for the moment. They usually play that the last week of the year, but USC is kind of backing out because they want to play their non-con in September and they don't want to have those early Big Ten Conference games. And then Notre Dame randomly shows up on the schedule.
We'll see. We'll see if we can get Joey to turn in a bracket for us.
Oh man, that's going to be difficult. I need to watch a little more college basketball. That's one thing I need to do better.
You watch a lot of Creighton in Nebraska, don't you?
I watch a lot of Creighton because I'm here, but I'm invested in the Creighton Blue Jays program.
Okay.
Before producing all the games, I've gone to all the games. I've had season tickets.
Here is some bad news for you then.
Uh-oh.
They have not appeared, the Blue Jays, in Joey Brackett's latest bracket.
That was expected.
Correct. Not at all surprising given what it's been over the last couple of weeks, but I figured I'd mention it. But there is a certain local team that does appear. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. Whoa. They are a 5 seed. They're on the 5 line at the moment. Now this is all resume based stuff, but you look at Nebraska's resume right now and what they have underneath their belts. It is, I mean, we're a third of the way through the season. Okay. We'll take stock in as we go, and we'll take stock in another couple weeks, right? They're gonna play Michigan at the end of January on the road, right? If they're in a situation where that game means a ton, and I don't know. I mean, Michigan is a huge game. Purdue is one of the best teams in the country, obviously, as well. Michigan State is always up there every single year. Outside of that, I mean, we'll see what Nebraska ends up doing, but we'll take stock at these sort of third points of the season. They have a 5 seed resume at this moment, which is,
man, the 5 seed is the last thing you want to be in if you have a good chance to.
Well, we toyed around with this idea, Joey, like they're sitting there and they're like with 0 NCAA tournament wins ever, and you're a 5 and you're going up against this like plucky 12 and they just play this ridiculously weird style of basketball that for whatever reason you can't handle or something like that. There's a lot of time to think about that. There's a lot of time to think about the what ifs. But they're a 5 seed on Joey Brackett's line right now with wins over Illinois on the road, gigantic, Wisconsin obviously at home. The Creighton win at home doesn't actually mean much for them right now. The K-State win on a neutral court, the New Mexico win on a neutral court, the Oklahoma win on a neutral court, also all pretty good at the moment. They're going to be 13-0 in the season when they beat North Dakota and New Hampshire before they go into that Friday, January 2nd game. If you're at all a super duper sicko and you care about anything or you like to play the matchups in your head, Nebraska on Joe Lunardi's bracket is matched as the 5 seed with Akron, who would be the AQ out of the MAC conference, the MACtion this year. So if they were to win, and if they were to get their first NCAA tournament ever in that exact situation, the team that they are matched up with on the other side of that bracket, this is in Oklahoma City, by the way, in Joe Lunardi's fantasy world, would be Houston.
Oh, boy.
Houston, they've been pretty good at basketball lately, and they kind of do this thing where they're like out-muscle you and out-physical and overpower teams, which
they like to play their pace.
Nebraska hasn't exactly seen a team with that kind of twinge to them yet. So that would be fascinating to see. Other teams on the 5 line, North Carolina, Florida, and Texas Tech. All those teams have been
consistent basketball.
All those teams have been like in the Final Four in the last like 3 years. So
modern day basketball blue bloods right there.
Yep.
Nebraska's paired up with. Oh boy.
Mike writes in on YouTube, Nebraska and Akron. Akron wants revenge for football. Yeah, they saw it 69-0. They saw it. They saw Teefie throwing that ball all the way down the field, and they were like,
I'm on board with them.
We absolutely have to get them. We must get them now. Here is Chance in Texas. He says, we are currently commenting on a radio show that did a whole bit about ignoring the crown last year, and now Creighton may want that exact situation. That is true. We may have to eat our crow on the whole crown situation. No doubt about it. I would love it.
But if Creighton wins, then the state of Nebraska is a crown state.
And then maybe the crown will just end and the crown will never exist ever again after that. They could just shut it down. And then nobody will have to deal with it ever again. Although there will always be an NIT or an NIT adjacent type of thing.
There'll still be that.
Yeah. But don't worry. Creighton fans have thought about that exact scenario quite a lot. Creighton's got some work to get to get to that point. At this point, right?
Yeah, they got a game tomorrow.
They do, but they have a lot of games to win.
Yes,
in front of them.
Got a small margin of error.
So we could just get this topic out. Like Saturday was a definite. We can't wait anymore. With the move that Creighton made in the starting lineup. It's at least they played hard enough in the second half where everyone just didn't straight up, just leave the game. I think that's kind of where they're at right now, and it just has to start in that spot. And there was a lot of critique sort of the lineup at this point, but keep in mind, when you put Blake Harper and and Nick Graves and Owen Freeman on the bench, you are not necessarily playing matchups anymore, and you're not necessarily playing like guys who you're like, oh, I think these guys. The ceilings don't matter anymore. You're drawing a line in the sand. You're telling everyone, look, there are non-negotiables that happen in our basketball program. And when I say non-negotiable, I mean non-negotiable. I mean it. And so Ty Davis goes out and plays, and he plays hard. And, obviously, the guys that were in the starting lineup brought that to the table. With that being said, they were down 18 at half, nearly came back and found a way to get over the hump at the end of the game. But it is wild to me. It's such foreign territory around here that they're in mid-December and they're still having to beg for that type of desperation. And like you said, Joey, don't look now. Wake up, everybody. I mean, these teams that they're going to be seeing with Marquette and Xavier this week, they're going to be playing with that type of desperation. Everybody's going through their ups and downs and they're trying to figure themselves out right now. But the one thing being in the Big East for 10 years plus now has allowed you to figure out is it is hard to play in this league, and it really happens in the margins, in the little stuff, deflected passes and second chance rebounds and all that, all those little tiny hidden stats that happen in games. That's where Big East basketball games are won. That's where any basketball games are won, for the record. But Creighton's not in a position right now where they are very airtight in those categories.
This is shades to the season after the Doug McDermott era.
See, I don't know. I actually think
it's similar, but Creighton's got a more talented roster right there.
Yeah.
They got the ingredients. I said this on Blue Jay Overtime. They have the ingredients. It's just making the perfect dish to.
I think it feels completely different from that. I've heard that a lot. And not to, go completely in the opposite direction. Like that year they had a dearth of talent and played really hard and played their style really well in order to elevate themselves to the point where they were able to win 12 games or something like that.
Something
year.
like that.
This is the exact opposite. And they might win the same amount of games, but it's talented and there's no cohesion or anything like that to it right now. So this one arguably I would say inarguably actually hurts quite a lot more. All right, more on them tomorrow as they get ready to go against Xavier, and you could hear that game pregame from courtside at Cintas Center is at 5 tomorrow night on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. Back after this with the polls, and we'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone. All right, the polls are up daily at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. A couple of them for you today. Does Fernando Mendoza seem Cuban? Joey, does he seem Cuban?
I guess so.
I guess so.
I guess
that
so.
feels like a no. 55% say no. See, to my point. Would you like to receive a Christmas card from Joey Colbert?
I would.
I would as well, but you can't because you are you. 56% say yes. And finally, does Matt McMaster look like he sends Christmas cards?
No, I would say.
I'm going to say yes. He's got this really like.
If he does, it's going to be some Chicago related.
This like motherly kind of hominess about him. You know, he sent me a picture of a soup that he was making yesterday. I feel like he would send Christmas cards. He's a pretty festive guy.
I love soup.
51% say yes. All polls are quite close today. Your vote matters. Those are the polls. Joey, what are we watching tonight?
All right, we got college basketball on tonight. We got a much better slate than yesterday. Start off with Peacock at 5:30, Toledo at number 9, Michigan State. I know Nebraska fans are going to be interested in watching that. There's a doubleheader on ESPN2. Starting at 6, it's South Carolina and Clemson, followed by Towson at number 17, Kansas. A couple Big East games. You got DePaul at St. John's at 6 p.m. on Peacock, 7:30, Butler at number 5, UConn. Then ESPN at 6 o'clock. You got number 11, Louisville at number 20, Tennessee. There's also the Omaha Mavericks hosting York College tonight.
Mavs.
Pre-game will start at 6:30 on News Talk 1290 Coil. Gary Sharp and Kyler Erickson on the call. And we got college football on tonight. Another bowl game.
Holy crap.
Something Joel Klatt will be tuning into.
This is huge news. What is it?
It's the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl at Montgomery, Alabama. You got Troy against Jack State.
Wow.
8
look
o'clock
at
on
that.
ESPN after the college basketball at 6.
Isn't the Jacksonville State running back? He was like one of the leading rushers in the nation this year. He ran for like 1,700 yards.
Yeah, they ran the football a lot.
Jacksonville State. Nice. All right, bowl games.
Then got the NBA Cup championship game tonight. I'm sure people will tune into that. No OKC since they lost to the San Antonio Spurs in the semifinals. They will face the New York Knicks. That's 7:30 on Prime Video. And then to finish things off, you got the NHL doubleheader on TNT, True TV, HBO Max, whatever you name it. Oilers at Penguins at 6:30, then the Avalanche at Seattle at 9.
Okay. All right. Some big games in sports tonight. Good to hear. Louisville and Tennessee is the number one KenPom thrill score game this evening. All right. Thank you, Joey. Another day down this week. We will do it again tomorrow. That is it for us. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.